Hello, what's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. It is time for another episode of Party Chat, episode 40, and the last one for a while. So glad you could be here. I see a couple people in chat already. Angry Canadian chastising me as always. What's up, Canadian? Good to see you. So, Ryan was supposed to be here, but he sent me a message a few minutes ago that he said he might not make it. So we shall see. Hopefully he'll join us. But if not, we got my other awesome co-host. We got Carl here joining me, who has somehow aged overnight, and he is now 40-year-old Carl. What's up, Carl? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Just readjusting to, workout schedules and stuff like that, trying to improve my life. So it's been going good so far.
Good. Well, I will ask you about that in just a second after bringing in our guest tonight, who I've been trying to connect with this guy for literally since my channel started, which is I'm at my 2-year anniversary this month, and the stars finally aligned. The stars, the planets, the sun, the moon, everything aligned, and we finally made it happen. We got the awesome Matt Cave Gaming joining us tonight. What's up, Matt?
What's up, dude? Yes, man, the universe finally let this happen.
And yeah, as I mentioned, this is gonna be the last one for a while because I'm gonna be on a bit of a summer hiatus, so it's perfect that you were able to join on this night as well. So thank you for joining me tonight. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Happy to be here, man. I'm excited.
So, all right, Carl. So I got to ask you because you're constantly going through an identity crisis. And first, you were the CEO of Rumble, then you were the Pope, and now you're 40-year-old Carl. You want to expand on what your name tonight is all about?
So there. I know you don't watch sports, but Matt, do you watch sports by any chance?
I'm a hockey fan.
This one is not in the hockey realm, but it's in the college football scene. There's a coach called Mike Gundy. And there was a famous post-game press conference that he had where he was like going off on the media, and he had this famous quote on there. It's like, if you want to attack someone, attack me. I'm a man. I'm 40,
Oh, I've heard you say that before. I didn't know what that was in reference to something.
Yeah, so that's like in my bio on Twitter. And when people like to get into arguments with me online, because I'm a notorious shit stirrer, people will look up my Twitter bio and be like, can you believe you're doing this as a 40-year-old man? So I just always retweet those people and just post the gif of Mike Gundy going, I'm a man, I'm 40.
And he's not actually 40. So
no, 34. I just turned 34. So
oh, that's right. Yeah, your birthday is in late May. So I forgot to say happy birthday to you, man. I apologize. Happy belated birthday.
I'm just flip those numbers.
I'm somewhere in between. All right. Well, before we get into our things, two things I want to go over real quick before we get started. One is the normal thing, but we are on the eve of a big launch, and I'm just curious. I'm pretty sure I can say with a without a shadow of a doubt, Ryan's answer to this question is no, and so is mine, at least for now. Are either of you guys getting this Super Switch when it launches here in the next few days?
Oh, yeah.
I had a feeling you were going to say yes.
I'm going to a midnight launch of it tomorrow at my local Best Buy.
Okay, awesome. I had a feeling. Do you guys know what you're planning on getting software-wise?
Everything I currently have.
Yeah.
Because there's no new games except for Mario Kart.
New games. Yeah,
I could play Pokemon at above 12 frames per second, and I could play Breath of the Wild at 60 frames. That's all I cared about. I was like, okay, let's go.
So will you be able to play your existing cartridge, or do you need to get the Switch 2 version?
So they are kind of doing it like, remember when the Xbox and the PS5 launched, where they had the $10 upgrade fee for some games?
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so some of the Pokemon is free, but the Breath of the Wild one is going to be a $10 upgrade, and I just bought the Japanese version that came with the DLC on the cart, so I'm just gonna use that.
Okay,
there you go.
So, Matt, do you plan to line up at midnight to go get it?
So I did an online pre-order, so it's going to deliver to the house. I wasn't going to have the opportunity to go to one of the stores for the midnight ones. Would love to do that though, because it's been ages since I've done that with any of that stuff. But I will get the new Mario Kart. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my one and only true Nintendo Switch 2 game for a while. But I'll do like Carl was saying, the upgrade to Breath of the Wild. That I'm looking forward to because I'd really like to play that at 60 FPS. That'll be nice.
Okay. Yeah, I've not played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom yet. I probably will eventually.
Mm.
But I won't be getting the Switch, the new Switch. I have no plans as of yet because the one thing that would potentially get me to get the new Switch, even though I just found out with last night or maybe it was last week that it's actually not a launch title, so it won't be coming out for a while. But is Metroid Prime 4 because Metroid is my second favorite franchise of all time.
Nice.
But it's not going to be an exclusive. You can still play it on the Switch 1. So I'll probably just do that. Maybe get the Switch 2 somewhere down the line. Who knows? So I don't have any plans of getting it anytime soon. But if the cards, the stars align for that, then maybe I'll get one. But we'll talk about more about that later because we have a topic that is very similar to that. And Nightmare is in chat as usual. What's up, Nightmare? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well tonight. Canadians, top of the fetish of Germany, Neo. My homeland. Anyway, so what we normally talk about real quickly before we get into our topics is go around the horn here and ask everyone what they've been playing lately. So for me, other than I did my Metroidvania Monday last night and beat Metroid Prime 2 and played basically the entire second half of the game, and it was my longest stream ever. It was just over 8 hours. Because I won't, like I said, I'm going on a bit of a hiatus, and I didn't want to leave Prime 2 hanging for like 6 weeks until I get back. So I'm like, I'm sticking it out. I'm finishing it however long it takes. And I was playing on hard as well. And it was super epic because the final there's basically the boss fight at the end. There's kind of two. There's the Ing Emperor, which is a 3-phase boss fight, and then there's one more boss fight after that, which is the final showdown against Dark Samus. The main boss fight against the Emperor Ing, I beat it with 1 HP left and 0 ammo. It was the closest skin of your teeth win ever. My heart was pounding. It was insane. And then the second, that final boss fight against Dark Samus, basically the main thing that boss fight is the biggest enemy is the timer because you have like 6 minutes or something to get out of the fight and fight Dark Samus. But she spends like 80% of the boss fight invincible. And you gotta stand there dodging attacks and wait till you can collect her shot so you can shoot them back at her. And it's just RNG on how often she does it. So with the timer, I wasn't really low on health on that one, but I beat it with like 42 seconds left. So it was down to the wire, but I was able to pull off that win. But other than that, I haven't really played anything because as I've been mentioning for literally like a year, my dive, I finally finished my dive, and I'm now currently starting all the games I've been backlogging. So I've been getting one achievement in a bunch of them. So I'm at I think I'm at like 170 now. So I've been getting one achievement in a crap load of games. So I haven't really been playing anything specifically other than a good long stream of Metroid Prime 2 last night. So but what about you, Matt? What have you been playing lately?
Oh man, I've been neck deep in the world of Final Fantasy. I'm a noob to the whole franchise. It was not my type of game growing up.
Same here. Because you're playing the remake, right?
I'm playing the remake, but I did the OG first.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm working my way through it, and then I loved it so much that I went and got the Pixel Remaster bundle of 1 through 6, and I've been playing. I'm up to the 3rd one in those. In fact, my daughter started playing them. She's 7 and playing the OG games and loving it. I'm like, this is great. So I just finished Remake the other night, and this week I'm jumping into Rebirth and continuing the story of that game. And then outside of that, just on the side, just because I always fall back on these games all the time because they're my favorite, I'm replaying through Resident Evil games. So I'm like in RE4 again and just
very nice.
Working my way through. My favorite franchise.
I got to get you and my co-host on Top 5, which is my other Tuesday night show. Because like I said, I do Party Chat every other Tuesday. And then on the alternating Tuesdays, I do Top 5. My co-host, Jason. Resident Evil and Final Fantasy are 2 of his favorite franchises of all time as well.
Oh, so we'd get along just fine.
So
yeah, Jason bullied me into playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah, as everyone around here knows, I'm not a fan of JRPGs, but the Final Fantasy VII Remake, since it's more of a real-time action hack and slash type game, I'm much more inclined to play it, and it's on Steam now, so I may eventually play it at some point.
Yeah. It's nice. It plays very well. It's especially like very different combat style versus the OG. But man, I'll tell you, I'm so happy that like friends and everybody like convinced me to play the OG one first,
Oh, okay.
because it was
It'd be
just
tough to go back to after playing the new one, I would assume.
yeah, that, and also just the way the story is, it's interesting. It's like the
Yeah.
dynamic between the two games. But
I like it a lot because AC and our buddy Jason and me did a kind of half of a spoiler cast already of it on the Friday before Memorial Day. But I just played all three of them last year at the end of December. I played them all in a row. I played Remake, then I went to Crisis Core, and then I went right into Rebirth.
nice. I loved Crisis Core. That was
Oh,
really
Crisis Core
fun. That
great.
game.
Yeah,
That was great.
So excellent. All right. Canadian says I had to step away. What did I miss? I was just talking about my epic final showdown with the Ing Emperor in Metroid Prime 2. So, but what about you, Carl? What have you been playing lately?
Well, I just beat Onimusha 3 and Onimusha 1 and Onimusha 2 all in one weekend as well.
Yeah, you just did. Well, I guess it wasn't a stream just about that, but you did a stream on Friday, I think, with IJP and
yes,
some.
no, just IJP. No, it was Wednesday.
Wednesday about what you guys did over May, which is very much like what Dude and I do for Achievement Chasers.
Yeah. No, Wednesday we did Onimusha stream for one of my new shows with IGP, and then we did a monthly recap last week.
I'm getting them mixed up. That's right.
You're fine. But yeah, just went through playing all the Onimusha games. The first two are really short, and the third one is actually about 12 hours. So it actually almost doubles the length of both of the games combined. Because you can beat 1 and 2 in under 5 hours if you really know what you're doing, which is funny. In fact, it's an achievement. So there you go, Neo.
No speedrun achievement for it.
Yeah, it's like if you beat the game in under 3 hours.
Okay, that's for the era that they came out with, and they're since they're Resident Evil spinoff, I'm assuming those are Capcom as well, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense because those early Resident Evils I hear are also quite short.
Yeah, well,
if you know what you're doing.
A lot of things too is I knew this, but if you watch a show like Onimusha was originally designed for the PS1, and it was going to be a Resident Evil feudal era Japan spinoff.
Yeah,
that was its original purpose, and then they just had a life of its own, which is funny because the Mega Man guy, Inafune, he was the lead of it. Yeah, he was the lead of Onimusha as well. So
okay.
I figured that's why you should check him out even more because it's your favorite Capcom franchise, right?
Yep, Mega Man's my favorite.
See, we have Resident Evil to thank for so many things. So we got that would have been Resident Evil and became something else that is beloved. And we have Devil May Cry because it was going to be Resident Evil and then it changed.
Yeah, Devil May Cry, Onimusha, and Dino Crisis. I think all were spun off from Resident Evil.
Yeah. Devil May Cry, that style was going to be what Resident Evil 4 was going to be, which is why there's a big castle and everything in RE4. And then it got changed, and then we got Dante over in Devil May Cry instead, and I think we were all the better for it.
I feel like it's so funny when we talk about these games because I dabbled a little bit on Devil May Cry 1, been playing Onimusha, as I said, and Dino Crisis I started last night. It's just how much of that old school Resident Evil DNA is in all of those first games. And then considering it's even more funny, it's because Resident Evil 4 was supposed to be Devil May Cry, and just how vastly superior of a game Resident Evil 4 was compared to all those very first games of the series. It's just funny. Yeah.
Yep.
But if you haven't played Onimusha 3, I think it's the best one. Also, they like to add famous actors as the face of the characters. And what I love about this one was Jean Reno was the other protagonist in the Onimusha game, and it was pretty funny, to be honest with you.
Yeah, a lot of people know him from The Professional, but what introduced me to him was the original Mission Impossible.
Yep.
See, mine was Godzilla 98.
That's right, Godzilla 98.
He was in Godzilla with Matthew Broderick. Yeah,
I didn't remember he was in that movie until you mentioned that on that stream. I had to go look it up on IMDb. I'm like, oh, he was in that movie. I didn't even remember him in that movie because it's been so long since I've seen it.
Because
He was
I've
the
never
best
seen The
character in that
Professional either. That's why.
I haven't seen The Professional, but I know he's well known for that movie.
Oh, that's a great movie. Get young Natalie Portman with him in that, and it's a fantastic.
I've heard
movie.
it's great. It's
Yeah.
on my like long list of to watch. I just don't really watch a whole lot of stuff. So
It's definitely one of those. It's a classic for a reason, and it's earned the right to be. Like it holds up.
Gary Oldman's the bad guy in that one, right?
Is it Gary Oldman?
I'm pretty sure.
I think so. I'm
I've seen
trying
a
to
gif
remember.
of him yelling very angrily, and I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure that gif of him is from The Professional. But let's see here. The Professional. Yep, Gary Oldman. Yep, I was right. So the first movie I remember him from was Air Force One.
Nice. Oh, love that too.
So and Canadian's like Dino Crisis because he's been playing it for the first time recently. And he's a big fan of Godzilla '98. I don't think there's really a lot of people out there who actually are fans of that, not ironically.
I
Yeah.
mean, AC, where you're currently located, I don't know if you want to say that too loudly.
All I know is that we need to bully him to play Dino Crisis 3. Otherwise, he's a fake fan.
I only get that because you told me about how bad that game is.
Dinosaurs in space. What? Xbox exclusive too? What? Nothing makes sense. Yeah, no. And then the last game I've just been playing a lot too is because I was checking my Fuse app, and I found I've had this game in my playing section for 72 days. So I decided maybe I should kind of get this out of there, and that was Pokemon Black. That's what I'm playing So I just got my 7th gym badge the other day, so I'm getting close to beating that as well.
So I've had the original Donkey Kong Country on mine for 112 because Matt may not know this, but Carl obviously does. One of the things reasons why I'm a big Xbox guy is because I'm an achievement hunter.
Okay.
And so my dude who I mentioned earlier, we do a show once a month, Dude 1286, because he's a bigger achievement hunter than I am, or more hardcore. I have a bigger gamer score, but he's got much more difficult achievements than I do. So we do a once a month show where we talk about our achievement hunting over the course of the month. And he introduced me to Retro Achievements, which is all community run, and people program achievement sets for old school games. So I've been playing through Donkey Kong Country for Retro Achievements, but because I try to get as many of them as possible, although Retro Achievement Masteries, which means getting all the achievements, are typically much more difficult than games like on Xbox or whatever, where the achievements come from the developer. So a lot of the games I've beaten, but I haven't mastered and I never will. But for Donkey Kong, there's an achievement for getting 100% of the secrets in every world, because that'll get you the end game achievement of getting 101%. But because there's so many secrets, I basically got to follow a video guide to find where they all are. So it's been taking me. It's kind of been on the back burner. So it's been taking me a really long time. And dude's constantly giving me crap. He's like, when are you finishing Donkey Kong? When are you finishing Donkey Kong? I'm like, I will.
You should see if they have Symphony of the Night on there and see if they got something for getting the 200%.
Oh, yeah, there is that. And I am planning on playing that one as well for Retro Achievements at some point.
That's a good one.
But the reason why I'm going on a summer hiatus is because I'm going out of the country for a little while, and I told dude, I'm like, I'm gonna get that 101% achievement for Donkey Kong before I leave. So I got about 2 weeks. I think I'm leaving 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, he's going to Africa to be a missionary. Spoilers.
So I need to get that one knocked off my list because it's been there for a while. And then my next closest one is Mega Man Extreme 2, which is the Game Boy Color game. But I'm at the final boss, and it's just horribly bad. It's one of the worst designed bosses in all of Mega Man.
We got a big Mega Man fan in the chat right now. We got to say what's up to the Star Wars Obsession.
What's up, Star Wars Obsession?
Yeah, he's a
big
Mega
fan of Mega Man as well. All right.
You know who's turning out to be a big fan of another Capcom IP? Mr. AC is a big fan of Beautiful Joe, especially the Sharkman boss fight.
I'm assuming you're being very sarcastic.
I have ruined his days many times.
Because that's the game that you challenged him to, right?
Yeah, because it was one of those funny things. I sent it to him, and I was like, he's like, "Oh, thanks for the game, man." And then I want to say every so often, he'll be like, "Why did you make me play this game? I hate this game. It's terrible."
Canadian says, in layman's terms, fanfic achievements. These retro achievements are typically much more difficult than like modern games with achievements from the developers. So they're real achievements. So
Well, hold on a second here. They're also achievements made by people who are bored, as we've learned.
Oh,
I wouldn't say bored. Because I was telling dude just last night in my stream that I've been considering learning how to do it. And I'd like to write an achievement set or two for a game. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's what you guys find out like you were on a stream with us and we are kind of like giving you a little ribbon.
Oh yeah, I was in chat
because you were like, oh yeah, there's like 200 achievements. And you're like, do you guys just get bored? Is that what it is? It's like we're just making an achievement just because it's Friday.
A lot of the times when they put in achievements in the game, it's based on like specifically like for end game ones, like the ones that annoy the crap out of me the most. Like I was saying, like I've beaten the game, but I will never get 100%. Is like the Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero mission, because there's like 10 achievements for like beating it in under 2 hours on hard difficulty with 100% items. It's like I will never do that. But there's special endings
like I said, bored.
in the game for each one of those, and that's from the developers, so that's why they made an achievement for it. So it makes sense.
That's crazy.
So all right, so ignoring Canadians' further ribbing, we'll go ahead and get into our topics for tonight. So I always like, as you guys know, I like to give the guest the option to suggest a topic. He's like, no, whatever. I'm just going to go with the flow. So because I know how much of a fan Matt is of retro gaming, it's in his logo after all. I was like, I'm going to put, send a straight fastball right down the middle of the plate. I don't know sports analogies because I don't use sports.
Close enough. That's all that matters.
Sports ball. Let's go.
Sports ball, even though I did play basketball and soccer in high school. But I was like, I'm going to tailor this one straight to him because he's a big fan of retro games. And so retro games is everyone's term for retro is all over the place. Some people say it's like 20 years and older. That's someone said in my chat last night, shoot, I forgot what it was, but they're like, here's what I think is retro. I'm like, that's actually a pretty good line in the sand for what counts as retro or not. I forgot what it was. I'd have to go back and look. But for me personally, I consider basically everything pre-3D era to be retro, although the first generation of 3D games could also count. It's more of a gray area. But that's kind of what I say is retro, because people say like, a lot of people say it's 20 years and older. It's like the Xbox 360 is turning 20 this November, and 360 will never be retro in my book. So, so anyways, I wanted to ask, what is everyone's favorite pre-3? Originally I wrote it as retro game, but I specified to say what I consider retro is what's your favorite pre-3D era game. So I know Matt's a big fan of retro games, so I was like, this will be perfect for him. So, Matt, what is your favorite pre-3D era game?
So I'm going to say that I have two.
Okay.
And these are two games that not only did I grow up with them, but I come back to them very often. Like, these are my two comfort games that I have a few minutes. I just want to play a little bit, either get a high score in one of them or just beat the game as fast as I can. And those two are Asteroids on the Atari 2600.
That's old school.
That's a game I played constantly with my father. We had our own challenge against each other. How many times in a row can you flip the score back to zero? Because we would get the score that high. So we were, and to this day, my father is still ahead of me. I'm pretty sure he did it 7 times and I was at 6.
That's impressive. And what were you playing on classic Atari then?
On the Atari, using the joystick and everything. So we would love playing that in the arcades and everything. So that's a game I come back to constantly. My other comfort game, and my kids always are fascinated watching me play this, and it may sound like a easy choice, but it's just, this game changed my life. Super Mario Brothers on the NES. I'll just sit down and play Mario for just a little, and just like I sit down, I'm like, okay, I make a decision first. Am I using warps or am I not using warps? And how fast do I think I can beat this game? And then go. And then it's just, that's my comfort game.
So it's great that you mentioned that, because I'm not a huge fan of Mario franchise in general. Not that I think they're bad or anything. It's just I think Mario is very overrated.
He doesn't like
Des-
Italians. That's what he's trying to say.
Despite the fact that Super Mario World was the first video game I ever owned. But so when my grandparents got me Super Nintendo for Christmas, I don't remember what year it was.
Yeah, your camera froze.
Your camera
there you go.
froze, but
It's
we're still
back.
getting your audio. All right, it's good. But they got me Super Mario World. Well, it came packed in with my Super Nintendo when they got it for me for Christmas, and it was somewhere in the mid 90s. I don't remember what year it was. And then I also got Super Mario All Stars. So I basically had all of the Mario games that existed up until that.
Love that collection.
And those are based, although no. And Mario 64, I never owned that, but I did play a lot of that over a friend's house. But that's basically all the Mario games I've ever played. But because of the challenge that I was mentioning before we went live with Canadian and Carl, Canadian's favorite, I'm pretty sure it's his favorite Mario game, is kind of what I hear is kind of the black sheep of the Mario games, but is his favorite is Mario Sunshine. So part of our contest is we each got to challenge each other to one game. So he challenged me to Mario Sunshine because Mario 64 was the last one I played. So another aspect of our challenge is if you play multiple games in a franchise, you get extra bonus points. So I was like, I'm going to start at the beginning because it's been 20, 30 years since I played Mario games and work my way up to Sunshine. So I just played through the original, well, not the NES version, but the Super Mario All-Star version of the original Mario Bros. And I just beat that a week or two ago for the first time in probably 30 years.
Oh, nice.
But oh my gosh, World 8 was such a pain in the butt because that last level has absolutely no mushrooms. So you have to get through the whole thing. Either you have to what I tried to do was keep my my fire flower from the previous level.
Yep.
But if you die or you lose it, you can't get anything back. So you have to go through the entire level without getting hit. And right at the very end of the last level, there's one hammer bro, and there's nothing you can't get underneath him. So you got to time it just right because you can't really jump over because they'll just hit you with the stupid hammers. And then you go right into Bowser, and it's the same thing. It literally took me at least 50 tries to freaking beat that freaking level. I was so pissed at that last final level, but I finally freaking did it. And now I'm working on the lost levels, and I'm stuck on World 2 because there's an invisible block that you have to jump up to another pipe in order to clear this gap, and you can't even jump high enough to get there. I'm like, what is this? So I've been very frustrated with classic Mario lately since I haven't played it for it's the first time I'm playing it in 30 years.
That game looks gorgeous on All Stars, the way they upgrade it to like Super Nintendo graphics with it and everything. But yeah, 8-3 is your last opportunity for a mushroom and a fire plant. If you get to the last castle with a fire plant, you're in pretty good shape because you could even sacrifice it to get the short invincibility.
Exactly. If I just could have had something, I could have gotten past them. But
so let me ask you this. When you got to that last castle, did you remember the maze? Did you remember the trick?
Not from back then. I had to learn it. But coincidentally, I just guessed and I got it right the first time on every single time. So then on my second life, I tried doing it differently, and it gave me the I'm like, oh
yeah, and you go back.
So you do have to pick the right way. And I just happened to get it the first time. I got all the way to the end on my first try. And then it took me like 50 more tries to actually beat it.
I love it. Yeah, playing that game. My go-to is always on the original NES, but I love the All-Stars remix of that game. And another great way of playing those games, I don't think they did it with the first one, but on the Game Boy Color and everything, they had those Mario Advance games, but each one this one's Mario 2.
Oh, yeah, that was Mario on Game Boy Advance. They had
a Game Boy Advance, yeah.
Mario Advance 1, 2, 3, and 4, but they 3 was like Mario 2, and 4 was like
it was all over the place.
All over the place. Very confusing. I've not played those versions, but I do know exactly what you're talking about.
It has a fun graphic style, and they also added voice to it. So there's the characters talk. Like there's different sound effects and everything. They're actually pretty fun.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So Canadian says he's working through All Stars as well, and I hate OG Mario now. I'm right there with you, but he said not to do lost levels. I know, but extra bonus points, and I'm doing it for retro achievements. So I'm trying to because Mario All Stars is just one giant achievement set. It's just got 4 games in it, so it's got like 106 achievements. So.
May the force be with you with lost levels, my friend.
I'm not gonna get all the achievements in Super Mario All Stars, but like out of the achievements, there's it lists each achievement says like whether it's for Mario Bros 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3 or lost levels. And out of all the ones for Super Mario 1, I've got I think all but like 2 or 3 of them. So that's my plan for each one of them, so that when I'm done with it, I should have probably about 90-95% of the achievements for All Stars.
Nice.
So, I know I should skip it, but I'm as much of a completionist as I can be, so I'm doing it. So Super Mario USA is not that unfair compared to the OG one. I don't even know what that is. But all right, what about you, Carl? Do you have a favorite pre-3D era game?
Well, I'm the youngest one in this group of Greycocks, as I like to say. So I guess
I've heard that term before.
Yes, I used it before. I think because I'm very I'm younger than you guys by almost 10 years. So I was born in 91. So when I was like in my formative years, I didn't really have like pre 3D graphics mostly growing up. Like we had a NES, but that was my brother's. My brother is actually older than both of you guys. He's 54. So the only game I looked this up, so the only one I'm going to go with is kind of a cop out because it released before the N64 did, was Pokemon.
Okay, that totally counts.
Yes. So obviously I'm the Pokemon guy, as everyone knows. To repeat the story, I was sponsored to play Pokemon for a little bit.
And you're talking about the TCG though.
Yes. But I've played Pokemon ever since I was a little kid. When it came to America in '98, watched the anime, and it's been in my life ever since. So
nice.
I'm going to go with Pokemon Red and Blue for sure.
Okay, I was going to say which Pokemon though, because there's so many of them. But that absolutely qualifies. Well, good stuff. And so I just pulled it up, and out of the Super Mario Bros. 1 achievements, the only 2 that I'm missing is beat the game in 1 session using the shortest possible route, which I've tried doing that a few times, and I get to that same spot, and I can't get past the stupid Hammer Bro and Bowser again in order to beat it. So I've done that. I've made like 3 attempts at that achievement. I keep failing. And then the last one for Mario Bros. 1 is beat the game in 1 session without dying, and I will never get that one.
Oh, you can do it. You got this.
I believe.
So, although you could use the warps and go, basically skip a large chunk of the game, but getting through those last 4 levels in 8, World 8 without dying, I don't think I would be able to do that without a lot of practice.
All you have to do is play that clip from The Matrix Neo. He's starting to believe in himself.
So, all right. Well, as for my answer to the question, we already mentioned this franchise a couple times lately on this stream already, because it's no secret, my favorite Capcom franchise is the Mega Man franchise, specifically the sub Mega Man franchise of the Mega Man X games, not the X games like the sports, but Mega Man X, because those were my first Mega Mans, and the Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3 are not only my favorite Mega Man games, but also my favorite Super Nintendo games. And of those, I often mention Mega Man X3 is my absolute all-time favorite Mega Man game. Nice. And so that is easily my favorite pre-3D era game. And kind of like you said, your comfort food game, I often will go back and just, play through it. I'll boot it up and play through it. And there is... I played 2 versions of it for retro achievements, the classic one. And actually, I found out that there was a fan-made hack for it called Project Zero, which allows you to play the whole game as Zero. But I didn't actually play it until dude told me that there's actually a retro achievement set for that version of X3. So I went through that one like immediately, and playing through that it was already my favorite. And that's even a better way to play Mega Man X3 is the Zero Project, because they made a lot of quality of life improvements. Even if you don't play as Zero, but playing through the whole game as Zero is also freaking awesome. So,
Nice.
yeah, Mega Man X3 Zero Project. The one and only thing that was a little bit of annoyance when it just comes to achievements is because the Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3 are all based on passwords. There's no save states. The Zero Project added save states, but that actually made it a little more difficult for some of the achievements because on the original versions, there's achievements for doing specific things. So you could just get a password to get the items that you need and go specifically for that achievement. But on the Zero Project, you would have to play through the game and get those items and then save and then try to go for that achievement and keep reloading your save. You can't just put in a password to get the items that you need specifically for that achievement. So, but I freaking love Mega Man X3. I played it, I don't know how many freaking times I played it, a lot. The SNES version, I have one achievement left for beating it without dying. And then the Project Zero version, I have a bunch of achievements left because the achievements on that set is even more difficult than the ones on the original set because a lot of the Mega Man, this isn't even specific to Mega Man X3, but a lot of the Mega Man X games have for retro achievements, they have an achievement for beating a boss without taking damage, and for each one of the bosses, and also an achievement for beating them without using their weakness. But on most of them, you could play them twice, do one where you're using their weakness to beat them without taking damage, and that's usually not too bad. Or you can use only your X Buster, and you'll get the achievement for beating using only your X Buster, but you can still take damage. The Zero Project has achievement for beating them without taking damage and not using their weakness at the same time, and those are really, really difficult.
I can't even imagine getting through a Mega Man game. What? Forget no damage without dying. Like I don't. I mean, I love the Mega Man series, but it's some of those games, some of those levels in particular are some of the hardest gaming sessions I've ever had. Like they are just the timing with things. I mean, every time I probably still have nightmares to this day of just the sound effect of the invisible blocks appearing.
Oh,
And
you're talking like classic Mega Man, right?
Yeah. And it's just like getting that timing down. My God, just so many resets and so many.
I have beaten all of the classic Mega Mans, but I've only done those once, where I've done Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3. I also am a big fan of 4, but I like 1, 2, and 3 more than 4. But I've done 1, 2, and 3, probably at least a dozen times each. 4, I've probably beaten Mega Man X4. I've probably beaten 4 or 5 times, but all the classic ones, I've only done 1 each. I'm not as big of a fan of those, but I find those way more difficult.
Yeah, they're intense, especially those like the original 6 games that were on the
NES
stuff on NES. They're intense. Mega Man 2 is my favorite one in the whole series.
That's what most people. I've got a lot of classic Mega Man fans, and Mega Man 2 is their favorite as well.
Yeah, that's my go-to. I think actually, as we speak, I think Capcom has the X series like bundle on sale right now. I think that's on everything right now on sale. Like the collection they did.
Yeah, the Mega Man X Legacy collection. I bought that day 1 in 2018.
Nice. I think it's on Fanatical right now. As part of a bundle, you could get that and the second one and another Capcom game for $10.
Nice. That's sweet.
So speaking of dude, I've mentioned you a bunch of times already. What's up, dude? He's in chat over on Rumble as usual. He says, I'm late because he's supporting Imp Black Belt, who's playing Donkey Kong Country 1, which I was just talking about a few minutes ago. If it was just for our challenge, it's only about beating the game, but because I'm doing retro achievements, I'm trying to get all the achievements as I go. So I'm trying to get 100% in each world as I go. So if I wasn't worried about that, I would have beaten Donkey Kong Country a long time ago, just going through it. But I'm trying to get 100% in each world and get that 101% achievement at the end as well. But those are my favorite, because I kind of differentiate between like Mega Man and like, even though Mega Man is a platformer, it's like an action platformer, not a traditional platform like Mario or Donkey Kong or Sonic or Rayman or whatever all the rest of the classic ones. So I kind of differentiate Mega Man from those, and I don't consider it a classic platformer, because if it was, it would blow all those other ones that I just mentioned out of the water. But for the traditional platformers, Donkey Kong Country games were my favorite. I had those on Super Nintendo back in the day, and I will pick those over Super Nintendo Mario games any day of the week. I'm a big fan of the Donkey Kong Country games. So
Love it.
all right. So let's see here. All right. So this one, I threw this one in because this one might be pretty short. But we did this last year about this time on Party Chat as well, since it is June now, and this is when a lot, this used to be E3 time, but that's no longer a thing. But now all these companies are doing their own showcases and stuff. So it's the month of showcases. So I'm just curious from you guys, if you had anything that you're looking forward to, hoping to get announced, anything you're hoping to hear from any of the upcoming showcases.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I know we keep landing back on Capcom here, but RE9, man, Resident Evil 9. Just give me a 20-second teaser, just something to just anything. Just throw RE9, literally the letters and the number on the screen, just to give
like
us
a Metroid Prime reveal from 2017.
something. Yes, please. Anything. Resident Evil fans are like chomping at the bit right now. We just want any official information about this game, because it is there has been so many rumors and so many quote unquote leaks that have, at this point, I think all of it has been like debunked at this point. There was an article that just came out recently talking about God, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a leaker that is got a good track record.
Shadow Golem.
Yes, that guy. Talking about saying what all the leaks have been wrong, but here's the stuff that he's saying are actually legit and what's going on. I'm like, okay, some of this sounds interesting, but still there's nothing official yet. And Capcom knows we are all just drooling and waiting.
On top of that, too, they just put the entire PS5 games on sale, too, because I just bought them all recently. So
Yeah.
So me not being a fan of the Resident Evil franchise, it feels like Resident Evil 8 just came out. But when did 8 come out? How long has it been?
That's a few years ago now. At
2022, 2023, it feels like.
Yeah, somewhere. I think was it 2020? I think it was 22.
Because Resident Evil 4 remake came out
after that.
After that, and then that got nominated for Game of the Year.
It was right. The very beginning of 2024 was RE4, right?
It feels like forever.
I know this one. It's like it was all like blurring together, but yeah, like and don't get me wrong, like those later entries, especially Village. Village was a ton of fun. RE4 remake, of course, is a freaking masterpiece.
Village is Resident Evil 8, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 8.
May 21. It's already been
21
4 years. It seems like
goodness.
like I said, I'm not a fan of the franchise, so I don't really follow it, but it seems like it just came out like a year or two ago, and it's already been 4 years. Wow.
Yeah. It did get a little revamp because they gave it like a second life again midway through, and they added the third person mode to it instead of just keeping it first person. So a lot of people were a fan of that, and myself included. I really enjoyed that.
Because 7 and 8 were first person by default,
first
right?
person.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
So they converted 8, gave us a third person option. They also put a DLC story in that is leading us towards the direction of 9. At least we think it is. Like, that's the whole it's so, dude, if there was ever a game in such shadow and secrecy and just being kept under wraps, it's RE9. Like, I've never known so little about a game franchise that I love. Like, it's just it's insane.
Well, joke's on you guys. It's Resident Evil 1 remake. Let's go.
It's gonna be RE1 remake again. Yeah.
Resident Evil 1 remake.
Yo, Steve in the chat, what's up, dude?
Hello, Steve. I think that's a different Steve than what I'm thinking of. But hello, welcome.
That's one of my Steves.
One of your Steves. Okay.
Everyone's got a Steve, all right?
I have a Steve, Static's brother, Steve, but I was like, I don't think that's him unless he changed his profile pic.
Matt, I got to ask you one question. Would you lose your shit if it was Code Veronica?
Oh my God.
Remastered?
I would love a Code Veronica remake, but it's like, I don't know. At this point, I just kind of want to I want to see what's next. I'm like, I think I'm itching more for 9 than I am for Code Veronica. Because look, don't get me wrong, I'm a big Code Veronica fan, as many RE fans are. But I love just popping that game right into my GameCube or Dreamcast and just play it there. But I don't know. I don't know what I want first. They're torturing us.
Want it all, damn it.
all of it now. Before I die, please.
And dude saying, I remember RE8 because of the Dami Mommy talking about Lady Dimitrescu. I remember the
my
memes
God,
with that.
That was
Step
what a
on me.
time that
And
was.
I heard like obviously I haven't played it, but I heard like, a lot of people were kind of let down because that was like only like the first act of the game, and it's over
she's one
pretty
of the
quick.
earliest moments in the whole thing, and then you go way further out.
It's like, oh, I wanted her to be more in the game, and then she wasn't. So, for me, I'm just like I said, I'm doing my dive because I've been backlogging a crap load of games that I've been wanting to play, but I'm like, I'm gonna get the for the dive thing because I'm an achievement hunter and I'm all about my completion percentage. So I don't put things on my tag that I don't intend to actually play. And so the dive is where you get one achievement in a bunch of games, and then after you're done, then you work your way back up to the percentage you were at when you started. And so I finally recovered that after like 6 years. I finally got back to that place. So for the last like couple of years, I've not been starting basically any new games. I'm like, I'm gonna play them once as motivation to get me done with this dive. So there's a couple things that I would like to hear, but for anything like these showcase announcements, I'm cool if they announce things, whatever. I really couldn't really care less because I'm just so excited to play all these games that I've been putting off for the last 2-3 years. So I'm just so excited to play all these games that I've been backlogging. But if there was a couple things that I would be looking forward to hearing, is one of my top favorite games of all time. The franchise is finally getting revived. We recently did an episode of top 5 dead franchises that need to get revived. This one didn't qualify because it's being revived because the rule was games that I think was like 10 years or older and don't have a planned game in the works. And because they announced like 2 or 3 games in this franchise just earlier this year, it didn't qualify. But if it did qualify, it probably would have been my number 1 on that episode of Top 5. And that is Ninja Gaiden Black is one of my favorite games of all time. I love that game so much. I just replayed it again for the first time in a while. And I finished that, I think, in April. But we got an announcement earlier this year that Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out in the fall. And we also got an announcement of a 2D Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And I'm very much looking forward to both of those. We haven't gotten any, I don't think we've gotten any announcement on whether Ragebound is coming to Game Pass, but Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming to Game Pass day 1. But I would just like, kind of like you with Resident Evil 9, I just want any little tidbits of information about Ninja Gaiden 4. Anything, give me anything, I will eat it all up. And then the other thing I'm hoping to get is an announcement of a release date for Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one.
So, because I was still thinking up until like a week ago that Prime 4 was going to be a launch title. And then Canadian was in chat on, I think it was last week's Metroidvania Monday. He's like, no, it's not a launch title. It's coming out in the fall. I was like, oh, all right. Well, then I looked it up and I'm like, yep, there's no announcement on a release date yet. So I'm looking forward to hearing what the release date is for that, because I will probably be buying that day 1.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out where you thought that rumor was from.
No, that's just not a rumor or anything I heard. It's just something I assumed. Because I've been saying for like the last year or so, I like, if you asked me to put money on, I would have put money on Metroid Prime 4 being a launch title. And so I just assumed it was going to be because that's what I was thinking. And then Kenny's like, no, it's not going to be. I'm like, oh, you're right. It's not. So it wasn't a rumor or anything. It's just something that I was under the impression because I put it in my own head. And I just took it as, even though I'm the one that told myself that, I thought that was actually what was happening because I put so much faith in that. And then it just turned out not to be true. So
You gaslit yourself. That's what you're saying.
exactly. I gaslit myself. That is the perfect way to put it. So
It's called Neo's head.
Yes, exactly. Neo's headcanon, like the other stuff. That is very accurate, Canadian. Very accurate. My own headcanon. I wanted to speak it into existence. So what about you, Carl? You got anything coming up from you're hoping to hear from any of the showcases?
All all these rumors and everything coming out. I know that recently, from some of the leaks out there and everything that we've been seeing, that Capcom actually did update their Dino Crisis trademark. And the last time they did that was with Onimusha and Okami. So I'm on the clock now to just keep hoping that one day we'll
Dino
finally
Crisis
see
3 remastered. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Hell yeah.
So would you rather have a proper remaster, remake, whatever of any of the classics, or would
Oh,
you
yeah.
like a Dino Crisis 4?
I just want modern day, give them the Resident Evil RE engine treatment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, as you know, I've said it more and I say it again. Even though those games like they still are playable, it's I just can't do tank controls. I think it's
Understandable.
just time to like just let this game get a modern coat of paint on it. Let those raptors shine in their glory. Let the T-Rex scare you even more because it still scares you. I was getting
Oh yeah.
still freaked out.
it
So
does.
like let's get those moments back. I trust Capcom. I loved Resident Evil 2, 3, and even though I haven't played 4 yet, I hear 4 is just phenomenal. And
They
you haven't
they
played
all
the
look
remake yet?
fantastic.
Oh,
yeah,
listen, RE2 remake did it right, and then RE4 remake raised the bar and set the bar of what a remake of these should be. So it's like, yeah. it's
Since we're on the
crazy.
topic and you're a big fan of the franchise, Matt, RE4 classic or remake, if you had to pick one?
I will always love the classic one, but I have to say, RE4 remake knocks it out of the park.
All right.
It took it where it needed to go. And not only that, it like for those who have played RE4, both classic and the remake, the way that game ends, they also did it right to move us forward. So let me just say this. I guarantee there's going to be an RE5 remake somewhere in this mess. It's coming.
and we're gonna start going off the rails at that point. Then,
And if they don't make it co-op like the original, we're gonna lose ours.
but like I said, I love Resident Evil 4. It's I think one of my top 3 GameCube games of all time. I played that game relentlessly back in the day to the point where I was just fighting Krauser with nothing but the knife every chance I could after certain points of time. So I am looking forward to finally sitting down and playing Resident Evil 4 sometime this year because everyone I've talked to that actually played the game said like it is just as good as number 4, and that's all I really want to hear is like it's just as good if not better, and that's
Yeah.
all I care about. It's like because I'm one of those people where it's like if you're going to do a remake, I don't exactly always want a 1-for-1 recreation unless it's a remaster, which I know that's always thrown around all over the place,
Yeah.
Just like if I want to play a 1-for-1 of like the original game, I'll just play the original game, Let's just do that. If you're gonna have like the guys on board, if your studio's going back and we're like, we got this whole new perspective, that dark glory, like goriness of that, because there was a lot of changes in Resident Evil 2. Obviously from the Leon and Claire editions from the PS1, like they didn't have the whole crazy Murder Crow section and everything too. But at the
In
same
the remaster, right?
time, in the remake, yeah.
Oh, remake. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I promise you, when you finally sit down with the remake, you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to be smiling the whole way. It's good stuff.
I just find it hard for me to hate Capcom. Like that's like the thing right now. Because I as I always say to people, it's like your favorite dev is based on like their last game,
Yeah.
and everything
Yeah,
that
only
like
as good as your last game.
right. And a lot of devs have kind of like faltered with me. Like I used to be a big BioWare fan, and now they're just like, well, hey, we remember the good times, right? But Capcom definitely had that moment for me in like the 2010s. I was not a big Resident Evil 6 fan. It's still one of my most hated games. Shocker, I know.
Oh, I should have challenged. Oh, is that on your hated games list?
I think
For
it
a
is.
challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 is rough.
6 is rough.
If I was to play it of the Resident Evil games, that'd probably be the one that I would actually like the most. I that's just a guess though.
But I will say this, that everything that Capcom has been doing since Mega Man 11 and forward really has just been relatively good. You know, we got Dino Crisis on GOG. We got still Monster
It
Hunter.
is on your hated games list.
Awesome. But we got Monster Hunter World, which is, one of my favorite games of the 2018, if not probably of all time. On top of that, too, they've just been doing a great job with ports and remasters and everything else like that, remakes. Even a game that came out, I want to say last year, it feels like, Exoprimal, even though that it was basically like, this ain't Dino Crisis, and I got mad. When I actually sat down and played it with my buddies, I'm like, this game's fun, like it's not an amazing game, but it's relatively fun. So looking forward to see what they got going. I know our friend Mr. AC he's always taking pictures of the Capcom building, so I always get jealous, but hey, if I wanted to say, I just want to hopefully get on that Dino Crisis clock to stop my sputtering around. But I also am interested in what Double Fine's next project is going to be, because we are overdue for see what the mind of Tim Schafer's coming out with next.
Yeah, obviously you're your Psychonauts character right now, and I know you're a big fan of those games.
Yeah, I love Psychonauts. It's Tim Schafer is one of those very few devs that I actually love to see what he's coming out with. Obviously, Neo knows Costume Quest, really fun game.
I haven't played the original, but I just beat the second one just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you got Brutal Legend, which is a cult classic for many people. A lot of the rock stars are dead in there now, which is sad, but it is what it is. Psychonauts 2 was a game that I thought I was never going to get, and I'm happy I finally got it. I loved it.
I haven't played a lot of Double Fine games, but I have enjoyed the ones that I have played. Costume Quest, a turn-based RPG, and my biggest issue with that was one of the stupid achievements. But I forgot this was Double Fine. Headlander, I really like that one. It's Metroidvania, so that's always a bonus, because that's Matt. If you're not aren't aware, Metroidvania is like my specialty. I love
that's your okay.
My favorite genre, so I love Metroidvanias.
They did Grim Fandango.
Yeah,
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, Grim Fandango, Full Throttle, Day of the
Tentacle. Also, Tim Schafer was a dev on Monkey's Island as well.
So they teamed up with old school LucasArts games for a bunch. Okay.
Yeah, because Tim Schafer worked at LucasArts.
That's right.
And then that's where I think he got his start. And they when they went away, I think they got the rights back too, and that's why they kind of been like weirdly republished. And that, you know what? If you ever want to listen to a very interesting story about like a studio and or a dev, listen to Tim Schafer and just how much work he had to like do to try to keep his studios afloat, and how many times he got screwed over by many different publishers.
So, and a couple others that I played, Stacking and Iron Brigade, and I started The Cave, but I still need to get back and play that one in its entirety. And then the one that I just started, I got the first achievement in it just the other day, and just part of my dive is Broken Age. So
nice.
All right. Canadian says the Capcom building is down the street. Nice. And as we were talking about, Steve, my Steve showed up a moment later. He must have been lurking, because he said, there can only be one Steve in chat. There can only be one. So what's up, Steve? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well tonight.
Can't wait for you to come out here in August, Steve. We're going to show you around.
Oh, yeah. He came out there and hung out with you briefly last year at some point, I think. Or was it earlier this year?
Yeah, it was February, I want to say. It was snowing outside here, so that's why.
Yeah.
So we took him to the best hot dog place in all of Illinois.
Nice. I got to hang out with him in Vegas a couple back in April, so that was a lot of fun. So good to see you, Steve. So, all right. So let's see here. Next topic on the agenda is so this is one I was really glad that Matt here said yes to this question. So I asked him in chat in our DMs. I was like, "Hey, were you a fan of the Rock Band Guitar Hero games. He's like, absolutely. I was like, all right, well, we're going to throw a Rock Band Guitar Hero question in for tonight. So tonight we are talking about, this came, the top 5, the episode of top 5 I mentioned earlier, the dead franchises that need to be revived. This question spawned from that episode of top 5. And I don't remember who it was, but that's the episode it came from. And so it was, what is a band you would like to see get their own dedicated game? So, there's like Guitar Hero Metallica, Guitar Hero Van Halen, there was Beatles Rock Band, there's Green Day Rock Band. Who was a band you would like to see get their own music rhythm game? So I was really glad that you were a fan of these games. I've been wanting to. I was like, I want to throw this one on.
So much. I mean, I have I have the drums, the keyboard, the guitars, all the things and everything from them. And I have so many of them. I loved Beatles Rock Band. That was so much fun to play. And Green Day was great. I even bought Lego Rock Band.
I played it, but I didn't buy it.
You know why I got it? Was because it had the Ghostbusters song on it.
That was a great song.
I was like, oh, I have to get this. So I have that on the PS3. And but I'll tell you, back then, like during my teens and into my 20s and everything, there was I was a lot more into heavy metal at the time, and I would have loved like a Korn rock band or something like that, or get something with like System of a Down, or move it into almost like metal and techno and get like Prodigy in there and stuff like that, and just like I think that would have been a blast. But if I could like play Rock Band and play like Blind and Clown with Jonathan Davis just belting it out, like that would have been a dream right there. That would have been great. You can sort of do that now because I discovered Clone Hero, which is a fan-made.
I've heard of that, but I don't know exactly what Clone Hero is.
It is awesome. I actually did a video where I play it, and I played a Mega Man medley on it, and it's
awesome.
So difficult. I sucked at it, but I was just like, I just got to show off this game. But it's all fan made and everything. But there's sites to get music from all kinds of things. The thing that drew me to it was I could play video game music. I was like, this is fantastic.
Okay, so you're another of the big video game music respecter.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Because I've when I started my channel, I've met people like Angry Canadian and other people who are like big into video game music, and I was never really paid a whole lot of attention to the music in games. So since I've met people like that, I've been paying more attention to music. But yeah, it's like you ask me about video game music, I'm like, I don't know. So I've been the last 2 years since I started my channel, I've been paying much more attention to it, thanks to people like Canadian and DJ Access. So
I gotta say this. Video game music has been getting better, and I think a lot of people don't exactly appreciate it as much. As we saw today, I think with the state of Unreal, how graphics are kind of just becoming more and more accessible to like indie devs, and stuff seems to be getting more and more easier to just kind of tune out like graphics as a thing now. I think a lot of people don't realize just how great music has become in gaming in general too. Like I played that game 1,000 Times Resist is what it's called. And I watched a little documentary about it. Those people started off as actual music people. And then when COVID hit, they were like, well, let's make a video game. And that's definitely one thing I've been noticing a lot more, especially now that we got these like high, quality headphones now. Like you can hear like just the amazing amounts of like details that they put in there too.
It's an art that just like you said, it doesn't get enough praise, it doesn't get enough attention. Even back in, I would say my favorite time of video game music is in the 16-bit era. There was so much more they could do versus the 8-bit, but at the same time there were heavy limitations, and you get some banger soundtracks on some of these games. I mean, just going back to, think about, even in 8-bit, think about any Mega Man game. The music is phenomenal in every single one of them. And then you got to the Super Nintendo with the X series and everything, and it just melts your brain with some of these soundtracks. But then, you get, some of the, like, especially like survival horror games and everything, and you get that, like, that dread that's in the tone. Like these guys composing this music for some of these games, they set the tone for the whole thing. Like try playing Silent Hill or Resident Evil with no sound. The experience is not the same. Or I shouldn't say no sound, no music. Like the experience is just not the same. Or Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, I'm learning now, has one of the most epic soundtracks I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
I like I said, it's great workout music too. A lot of like OSTs for a lot of video games are my favorites. Like Jet Set Radio Future. I love the
Oh my
Persona
God,
series.
That's coming back.
Yeah. One thing I like to say too, is just like I keep saying, like Dave the Diver. Have you ever played that game yet?
Yeah.
Like that soundtrack is amazing. It's so chill and just relaxing and soothing. Like you literally could just put it on at like a restaurant and people would not be any of the wiser. One of my favorite soundtracks of last year was Metaphor Refantasio, which is like some of the most insane music out there. It's like I said, we're getting off topic a little bit here, but it is definitely, a thing I wish people would talk about more, because sound design in game has just become so much, better. And I've been like watching a lot of Did You Know Gaming videos too, and just listening how like the breakdowns of like even some old Pokemon games, like you can't hear the like sound effects, but like if you go into the coding of the sound files, like they got, wave sounds, waterfalls, raindrops, everything in there, but it's overshadowed by the music of that game.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that, and to kind of bring it back into the topic, when you get to be a part of that music and play something like Clone Hero and find your favorite soundtrack from a game, and now you're playing it. It by the way, it uses the instruments from Rock Band and Guitar Hero. You plug the adapter into your USB port, and now you're good to go. You just map it like it's a controller.
Yeah.
And to go in and be like, oh, I'm gonna play, a Zelda medley, or I'm gonna play Bubble Man stage from Mega Man 2, or I'm gonna play whatever. It even had like this one was so much fun to play. The Super Nintendo rendition of the Power Rangers theme from the Power Rangers movie, the game. It was like it's just so much fun.
So I had heard of Clone Hero, but I didn't ever look it up. I pull it up here. If I didn't know better, I would think that this was a legitimate Guitar Hero game, because all of the animations, like the little notes and stuff on the note highway are identical to Guitar Hero. Like the score, the font, everything is identical. So that is crazy. So does it generate it on the fly and you can just plug in any music, or do people have to go and create these songs for it?
People have to create the stuff for it. They create the I guess whatever text file goes along with mapping the notes, and they set the difficulties. What I have found is most songs, at least the ones I have found so far, only have expert as the difficult. Like, so it's like, all right, now you got to really play this, and then every once in a while you'll find with multiple difficulties. But it's people making these. There's a bunch of sites that are kind of all over the place where there's archived music to download for getting the tracks of whatever you're looking for. It's a little messy looking for the songs, mostly probably because it's like, it's not the most like legit thing to go about
it's
doing.
all community run, so
it's all community run, so it can be a little messy finding specific things that you're looking for. But I gotta tell you, if you get the opportunity, I highly recommend trying it. I dare to say it plays better than the actual games. Like, it's like spot on. Like, there's no delay. It is just, it feels right, and it's so good.
Nice. Okay. So you mentioned, you started kind of speaking my language there, although you did mention Korn. I'm not a huge fan of Korn, but I do like that genre. I wore this shirt specifically for this question.
Disturbed.
This is one of my favorite mainstream bands of all time. I love Disturbed so much. I would say that would be my answer to the question, but Disturbed got a ton of DLC for Rock Band, and I bought it all immediately. So
nice.
I've got enough Disturbed songs in Rock Band, so that was not going to be my answer. my favorite and my two favorite classic rock bands of all time also had a lot of DLC for Rock Band, and that is my number 2 is Motley Crue. I freaking love Motley Crue.
Nice.
And they had 1 or 2 full albums of DLC for Rock Band, and I bought those immediately as well. So I've got a good chunk of Motley Crue songs in Rock Band. My number 1 favorite from back in that era is AC/DC, and they have their own specific track pack, which I also bought. I don't know if I got that day one, but I absolutely bought that because I love AC/DC. So although they didn't get their own standalone games, they got enough DLC in the game that I wouldn't want to pick them because I already have some of their songs. Not one of my favorite bands, but a band I absolutely loved. Most people only know them as a one-hit wonder, but I followed them, over the years, and all of their albums are great. I don't know if I would say that I would love to have them get a dedicated whole game, but they should have absolutely gotten a good chunk of DLC, and that was Story of the Year. Most people only know them for the song Page Avenue was the album. Shoot, I just blanked on the name because of the song that it was a super hit when I was in high school. But all of their albums were fantastic, and that was about the time that these games were like at their peak. And whenever time I listen to them, I'm like, God, I wish I could play some of these songs in Rock Band and Guitar Hero. So I would have loved to have gotten some Story of the Year DLC for Rock Band. But if I had to pick a band, probably my other favorite mainstream band, who has, as far as I know, never got any DLC for them, because they're more of a newer band. They might not, I don't even know if they were a band yet when Rock Band and Guitar Hero were, the talk of the town. But that is Five Finger Death Punch. I freaking love Five Finger Death Punch so much. I would love to play a Five Finger Death Punch Rock Band or Guitar Hero. So,
oh man, you just really hurt Fernando's feelings.
Oh, does he hate them?
Oh my goodness. So over here in Illinois, we have this station called 95 Will Rock, which stands for Wisconsin, Illinois. And they do nothing but play like that Jekyll and Hyde song for like an entire summer. And it is like, it destroyed him.
Some of their more recent albums haven't been, I mean, I still like them, but they're not as good. Like my favorite ones are American Capitalist and the double album they had, volume 1 and 2, Wrong Side of Heaven, Righteous Side of Hell. Those albums are freaking phenomenal. And I saw Five Finger Death Punch live, and I was disappointed because they didn't play my favorite song of theirs, Cradle to the Grave. That's my favorite Five Finger Death Punch song. I freaking love that song. Anytime I'm testing out like a stereo system, that's the song I put on and I crank it to max. I love that song so much. I was very disappointed when they didn't play that song when I went to go see them live. But yeah, I freaking love Five Finger Death Punch, so I would absolutely totally be down to play a whole game around them. So
I gotta ask you, since you're a Disturbed fan, and I just started rewatching this recently. It popped up in my feed, and I was like, "Oh, I remember this." And I've been rewatching it, and reactions to it. What did you think of their rendition of Sound of Silence?
Oh my gosh,
was that like 9 years ago at this point?
It is so phenomenal.
I still get chills.
It is one. So it's great that you asked that question, because just recently I heard, I think it was a stream I was listening to, someone was talking about covers, and someone was saying, are there any covers that are better than the original? And Disturbed has done a lot of covers, and I think basically all their covers are better than the originals. Sound of Silence, it's a great song, but their version is phenomenal.
Even Paul Simon praised them for it. Was just like, that was great.
I never actually watched the music video of Disturbed's version of Sound of Silence until probably sometime within the last year, and it had 2 billion views or something ridiculous. And I was like, holy crap.
The official video is great, but the live performance he did on Conan was
okay.
like,
I've not seen that.
Okay, that's the one. Like the studio version with the video, all well and good. Listening to him do this live with the symphony, dude, it's like, you'll get chills.
I bet. I'm getting chills just thinking about it, because for a rock band, David Draymond's got an amazing voice.
He's, oh my God, his voice is incredible. Actually, I didn't play any of their DLC on Rock Band. I don't even know if I I don't think I knew they had DLC on
Yeah,
there.
because Indestructible is my favorite Disturbed album, and they did they did 2 or 3 DLC packs. They did one DLC pack from Indestructible, which had 3 songs from that album. They had I'd have to go look at it, but I'm pretty sure I have 3 sets of 3 tracks from Disturbed. So I'm almost positive they had 3 sets of DLC.
Nice.
I bought them all.
It's great.
Oh, but speaking of the covers, Land of Confusion, their version, not that the original is bad, but their version is phenomenal. And then what's the Tears for Fears song that they covered? Shout. Their version is fantastic. Basically, every song that I've heard Disturbed cover, I like their version better than the original.
I'm reading what dude's putting in chat.
So yeah, so dude
says
says
Nickelback needs a redemption arc.
I do like Nickelback. That was the first concert I ever went to. So and I think they get overly hated. They're not like an amazing band, but I don't think they deserve all the hate they get. So I would
I agree. I'm like
play a Nickelback rock band. I would totally play that in a heartbeat.
There you go.
So saying I tried my hand at fretting a drum track to Metroid Metal song I found on PoopTube. Took a long time, but someone I knew who did drums said I did a decent job. That's awesome because when I do rhythm games, drums is my instrument. I played them all, but drums is my favorite.
I have to praise the Rock Band series here for something because they had every opportunity to not do this. But with each release, each like numerical release, it allowed you to bring in all of your previous music. So by the time you get to Rock Band 4 on the PS4 and stuff, I have Rock Band 1, 2, 3, all my DLCs, everything bundled into that one game.
I didn't play 4, but I have all of my Rock Band 1 and 2 DLC in Rock Band 3.
Which publisher put those games out? I can't
Harmonix.
remember.
Oh,
Harmonix.
Did they publish or did they develop?
Or
because Harmonix originally started Guitar Hero and then Activision took over and Harmonix split from them and made Rock Band.
Imagine EA made that.
Rock Band is developed by Harmonix, published by MTV Games.
So they did the right thing
with
the games and to their fans and everything. But could you imagine if a company like EA made that game? They would make us rebuy all that music every single time.
Interesting. I just put Rock Band 3 was actually published by Mad Cats.
Oh, was it?
Can you believe that?
Oh my god!
I didn't even know they published games. I thought they just made hardware.
Is it the same Mad Cats? I had a couple of Mad Cats controllers.
Cats with a Z, so I'm pretty sure it's the same company. I didn't even know they published games.
Wild.
So, but Alice Cooper Kiss would be a great choice for band center game. Absolutely. Especially with the theatrics they do in concert. I think Living After Midnight is still better than Judas Priest. Oh, Disturbed's version of Living After Midnight, also a fantastic cover. Love that one. I was just listening to that one like a week or so ago. Midlife Crisis. That's a great cover as well, is about Even with Faith No More. Oh, yeah, their covers are fantastic. So, but yeah, what about you, Carl? You got a band you would like to see get their own game?
I'd rather take it a different direction, and I feel like my mom, she was born in the 50s, but she was a giant hippie growing up too. And when I was growing up with her, she'd always play the Woodstock '69 CD, and we'd always watch it. So I feel like that would be a fun game to just recreate Woodstock '69.
Interesting. Okay. Rock
that
Band Woodstock.
Awesome. That would be
a cool concept,
actually.
Because I was looking at the lineup here, you got like a lot of famous bands there. You have Jimi Hendrix, Sha Na Na, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Sly and the Family Stone, which I didn't even know that. I think 10 Years After, which is one of my favorite songs, was on that album. Joe Cocker, Jefferson Airplane, The Who, CCR, Grateful Dead, and Canned Heat was on there too. And there was Santana. And those were like the real big names there too. A lot of real big hit bands there.
I knew most of those names.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you could do a bunch of stuff with that, with like live concert venues type stuff.
Yeah.
Like do like a Live Aid DLC, and then you have Queen in there, and you have like bunch of stuff. That would be pretty sick. I would play.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about that too. Because we're talking about like albums and stuff. I was like, well, one of my favorite albums, like I said, it's because my mom is Woodstock '69. I stole it from her for as a teenager. I would listen to it, and I thought like, well, if we're talking about like reviving the franchise, like there's a lot of famous concerts out there too that took place, and probably one of the more iconic ones of all time still is Woodstock '69. I mean, I learned about it even in my history class in high school, because that's how big it was. It has an impact of my life because my mom used to tell me stories how she tried to hitchhike to Woodstock when she was a teenager just to go see the concert and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I feel like it's a 3-day event. You can kind of have like some fun moments in there, break it up, and a lot of those songs are like insane long too. Like Soul Sacrifice from Santana is like a 10-minute long song on itself, live and everything crazy, especially because it's got all like the crazy instrumental stuff, like pianos, like you were saying, drums. You can have bongos and stuff. I feel like it'd just be fun, and plus it's another way to kind of introduce a younger audience to music that probably not a lot of them know about, and maybe just get people to like get more interested in learning about like watching the original footage, going back and listening to documentaries and stuff like that. And plus it is pretty cool to like close out the concert on Jimi Hendrix. So a lot of his songs are really, he's one of the greatest guitarists of all times.
Oh, yeah.
And, he had that very iconic, national anthem they played there as well. So I'd say let's do that. Let's go with a concert series.
That is a really great idea. And yeah, you're talking about introducing younger people to, an older era of music. A ton of my music that I like now was introduced to me because of Rock Band and Tony Hawk.
Oh my God, the soundtracks in Tony Hawk. Yes. Goldfinger playing constant. Oh my God. I had the quick little story. This was back when I was dating my wife, and actually, no, this was before we were even dating. We were just friends at that time. But anyways, we're hanging out at her house, and her brother's got the PS1, and the demo disc arrived because we would get them in the mail, and it was just a PS1 demo disc, and one demo on there was the first stage of Tony Hawk.
The Warehouse,
and
right?
It only had one music track, and it was Superman by Goldfinger. And we played this for hours. Eventually, who would eventually be my wife, she was just like, "Are you guys done playing this yet? I can't listen to this song anymore."
I hate Superman now.
That's great. So, all right. Well, that was a great. You took it a little bit of a different direction, Carl, but I love it. That was a great idea. So, dude says, yeah, now Harmonix is owned by Epic, so Rock Band 5 will be a mode in Fortnite. Unfortunately, you're probably not far off.
They kind of have it in there already. There's a whole music festival thing in there now.
Yeah. It's a shame. So, while we're on the topic, I was going to mention earlier when you mentioned Lego Rock Band. So I rented it from GameFly back in the day. And the only achievement I wasn't able to get in that one was getting 100% on the guitar solo on Final Countdown on Expert.
Oh my God.
I never finished it because of that. Just about to hit the 15th anniversary since I played that. My first achievement was June 12th, 2010.
Nice.
So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember playing the Ghostbusters theme that in Lego Rock Band. That was great.
It was great.
Yeah.
So
before we finish, we should have Rock Band Toto. That's what we need.
Oh yeah.
Man, Tito, you mean Toto? Tito's what you ate, or Tito, you mean Toto's what you ate for dinner last night. I gotta watch. I gotta watch Rush Hour again.
I love those movies.
I would love something like a Michael Jackson kind of rock band too.
I did think about that because I just responded to a tweet the other day. It was like, which celebrity death in your lifetime impacted you the most? And Michael Jackson was mine because I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson. But I was like, his music isn't quite right for a Rock Band Guitar Hero game. Although I believe Billie Jean was in one of the Guitar Hero games, but I would say most of his music isn't quite the right type.
They had that Michael Jackson Experience game that was on the Wii.
That was a Kinect game.
And the Kinect game. Yeah, it was the Wii and the Kinect. It was all motion. It was more of a rhythm like
dance
game.
I played the dancing one on Connect, and my roommate had a Connect at the time.
Yeah. I'm just upset Sony killed Michael Jackson.
Well, I mean, there are the conspiracies out there, but actually just doubling back a little bit just for a quick second on awesome covers, Alien Ant Farm, their cover of Smooth Criminal. Oh my God.
I heard their version before I heard the Michael Jackson version.
Oh my God.
Even though I was a big fan of Michael Jackson, I didn't know that it was a cover. And then later when I explored more of Michael Jackson's albums than just Thriller, I was like, hey, wait, Alien Ant Farm wasn't the original maker of this song? And I was like, had that light bulb moment.
Oh my God. You know what? I heard that cover for the first time in, I think it was American Pie 2. And it just kicks in. And I was like, what is this? I was like, it blew me away. I left the theater and immediately had to find that song.
I think the Alien Ant Farm Smooth Criminal was in one of the Tony Hawk games. And I think that's where I first heard it.
I think I downloaded it on Napster.
I feel like for me, my moment when I had one of those, like the cover was better than the original. Still, Johnny Cash's "Hurt."
Okay.
I despise Johnny Cash.
I love Johnny Cash,
but I hate with a very fiery passion country music. It's my most hated genre ever.
Would you say it is a burning ring of fire?
Yes, I would go to say indeed. It's a burning ring of fire. God dang you, Matt.
Oh man, Cocaine Blues is great. That's a great song though.
I wish I had the rim shot. If Ryan was here, he could do the rim shot and sound effect because he's got a soundboard. That was a good one though. But what's up, Pop Culture Mechanics and Guten Tag, gentlemen? How's it going? Real gamers remember Sega Michael Jackson game. Oh yeah, the
Moonwalker.
The Moonwalker game. I haven't played it, but I know of it.
Oh, dude, play that game. It's so good. It was fantastic arcade game, and the port is actually really good.
Let's see here. Genesis. It does have a retro achievement set. So and speaking of that, I forgot to mention something that Dude mentioned earlier while we were talking about Resident Evil. All the Resident Evil games on GameCube have retro achievement sets, if anyone was wondering.
Sweet.
So Beat It would be perfect for Rock Band. Yes, that one definitely would be. So Dude says Alien Ant Farm got the thumbs up for Michael Jackson himself. Oh, I did not know that. Interesting. Hurt was originally a Nine Inch Nails song. The guy behind that band said even though he wrote and originally performed it, Johnny Cash owns the song after his cover. Huh. All right. I'm not a fan of Nine Inch Nails either.
No Nine Inch Nails. If you ever, they had it, somebody, they didn't make this. This was years ago. This was one of those songs that just floated around that somebody made. It's the song Deep, but mixed with the Super Mario Brothers music. And it just oddly makes perfect sense.
All right, we'll move on to our next topic on the agenda. And this was one that I thought of just recently because, like I said earlier, Metroid is my second favorite franchise of all time. And I was like, you know what? I've never played the original Metroid or Metroid 2. And so I owe it to myself to go back and play the original ones. Because I had played Zero Mission and I played AM2R. So I played newer versions of the first two games, but I never played the original OG Metroid and the original Game Boy version of Metroid 2. So I've now played those as well for the first time this year. But there are other franchises that I've played, but I've never played the original game or two in the franchise. So I was curious from you guys if there are any franchises that you've played, but you've never played the original. So the other one that immediately came to my mind is another franchise I'm a big fan of. We were talking about it earlier, the Zelda franchise. I got introduced to it with Link's Awakening. Shout out to Anger Canadian because I know how much he loves that game. Not really. He hates Link's Awakening. But that's what got me into Zelda is Link's Awakening. So I love that game. And then Ocarina of Time is in easily my top 10 favorite games of all time. And that's my favorite Zelda game. But I've never played the original Zelda or Zelda 2. But I am going to because of our challenge this year, you get bonus points for playing multiple games in a franchise. I'm going to start at the original and work my way up to probably Twilight Princess if I have time this year. But just like that's also why I went back. Twilight Princess is my second favorite Zelda, like this close behind Ocarina of Time. They're like neck and neck. But that's also why I went back and played the original Metroid and Metroid 2 is because of our challenge, get bonus points for playing multiple games in franchise, in the correct order. So when I get around to doing Zelda, I'm going to do the same thing. So curious from you guys, there are a bunch of other franchises I was looking through. I'm like, oh, wow, there's a lot of franchises where I never played the original game. But curious from you guys if there's any franchises that you've never played the original.
Oh, this is easy for me. Elder Scrolls 1, 2, 3.
That was on my list as well. I played Oblivion and Skyrim, but I haven't played anything before that.
Never played those ones. This one's kind of cheating because I have played the first one now, but as a kid, never played Jak and Daxter 1. I played Jak 2.
Fun games. I love those.
Yeah, so that was one. Grand Theft Auto 1. Never played the original Grand Theft Auto.
That's actually the one that I had the most fun with.
But I played Grand Theft Auto 2. That was the closest one. I never played 1 or the London expansion. What else? I'm trying to think of. There might be a couple. This one's also cheating too, but Knights of the Old Republic 2. I actually played that first before I played Knights of the Old Republic 1.
Oh,
that's
weird.
Actually an idea for similar but different question on games where you played the sequel before the original. I'm gonna write that down for a future one.
Mm-hmm.
And then last one I could say is Sonic Advanced Battle 2.
Okay.
Because I never played the Sonic original games for the Genesis because we didn't have a Genesis in our house. Or any of my cousins, actually.
That'll stop you from playing it every time.
Exactly. I guess you can throw in a few more there too, the Fire Emblem games, because I never got a chance to play like the original ones, obviously, because they were only in Japan. So, and Final Fantasy. Never played the original Final Fantasies. Okay. I think the lowest one I played was 6.
Okay.
So, yeah. Basically, everything I know about Final Fantasy is from what people have said. And Dude's a big fan of them. And so he was playing through the Pixel remasters not that long ago. And he was kind of telling me the difference between them on one of our achievement chasers. I still think he has to finish up going through those. But speaking of, Dude says, while we're talking about the music thing, a guy mixed One Wing Angel and the Space Jam theme song and DK rap all together, and it works cursedly well.
Wow.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. So if you want to send me that link, I'll check that out, dude. Katie says, I can't wait to see Neo Rage over Adventure of Link.
I played Persona 1. That doesn't count. I actually played Persona 1.
Canadians trying to call.
But I guess if he wants to do that, technically, I played Persona 5 was my first Persona, and then I've kind of been ping-ponging all over the place on that one. Okay. So I can include that one, too, just to satisfy his autism.
All right. What about you, Matt? You got any games where you haven't played the OG?
For me, one of the, I would say, biggest fan favorite franchises that I haven't played the original yet on is Star Fox. That was first Star Fox game I ever played, and I didn't know that the game was going to be what it is, so I was very confused. The first one I ever played was Star Fox Adventure.
I knew you were going to say that. Another one that Canadian hates that game. He just played it recently too.
What was going on? I kept pushing through that game, and I'm like, aren't I supposed to fly a spaceship or something? I'm like, what is going on? There's weird mumbling dinosaurs, and I don't understand what's going on. So I was
said
so
Star
confused.
Fox. I was going to say it's probably Star Fox Zero or Star Fox Adventures. It's one of those two because I've heard both those games are not good.
Yeah, I never finished Adventure, but I went really far because I was like, I gotta fly a ship at some point here. And it seemed like it was not part of it. But going nuts. But now, in more recent years, I have since then I streamed my very first experience with it was Star Fox 64.
Okay.
It was a highly recommended game, a big one, a big ask from a lot of people. So I was like, all right, let me get my hands on it, and I loved it, and I still love it. So Star Fox 64 is incredible. Great. That said, and I do finally have a copy of it. I have not played the original Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, but I will be soon.
Okay. So
I love Star Fox 64. And another thing too is it came out well, it might not have came out at the same time, but I remember around the same time I was obsessed with Independence Day.
Oh,
And there-
the Independence
one
Day
game?
level. I love
And
that
there's an
level.
Independence Day level too, and I was obsessed with that as a little kid.
I love that level. So yes, when I was mentioned, I got Super Nintendo for Christmas from my grandparents in the '90s, and it came with bundled in with Super Mario World. I don't remember if I got it for that Christmas as well, but I ended up with Super Mario All Stars at some point.
Mhm.
But I also ended up with the original Star Fox, so I got introduced to it with the original on Super Nintendo.
Nice.
And then when I got my N64 from my same grandparents for Christmas a few years later, it came bundled in with Star Fox 64. And that is easily my favorite Star Fox game. Although the only other one I played is Star Fox Assault.
Mhm.
A fun game too.
Yeah, it was good. But I think Star Fox 64 is far superior to Assault.
Oh yeah,
It's
because
from what I've
64 is the
seen,
goat.
it's great. I mean, I love the control scheme of it. I love the graphic style of it. I mean, I just it's
It's
just so much
impressive
fun.
what they were able to get out of the 3D polygonal graphics on the Super Nintendo
Yep.
with that game. I mean, the frame rate's terrible, but it's impressive that they were able to get that out of it.
The thing I love too, especially with it being at that generation of gaming, was that your wingmen like actually were helping during these battles. Like, you get a lot of stuff where you'd have like your NPCs that are with you, but they're not really with you. They're not doing anything. But there were times where it's like they'd save me and then I'd go save them. And it was just like, it was actually so interactive.
Do you know the memes with Slippy?
So, okay, I loved Slippy, and a lot of people were telling me he's one of the most hated characters. I was like, why is people hating on Slippy? I'm like,
So it's funny you mentioned that because I just replayed Star Fox Assault last summer for the first time since I got it on GameCube because for retro achievements. Literally, the opening of the first level, like 10 seconds in, Slippy's like, "Fox, help! I got someone on my tail." I'm like, "God dang you, Slippy! You suck! You're freaking useless!"
I don't know. I was very,
But-
it was like, and I didn't know there was a thing about that, about him and everything. So I remember people in my chat were like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're not hating Slippy." I'm like, "Why do people hate Slippy?" I'm like, "I had
They
no
hate
idea."
Slippy.
Slippy sucks. That's the problem. There is a level in 64 where if Slippy can get taken down, and then he's like
Yeah.
captured, and then you gotta try to rescue him. It's just like you're so annoying, Slippy. You're like,
But
not
that
even
level
get
was awesome. You got the tank.
it is awesome, but it's just like really you have to play badly and get rewarded. That's how that one is.
So I played Star Fox Assault last summer. It's one of my 4 completed games on RetroTubes where I got all the achievements. But I haven't played Super Nintendo or N64 Star Fox basically since they were new. So I'm looking forward to playing through those again for the first time in 20 plus years for retro achievements here soon as well. So, all right. So, hey, Paul's here in chat saying, "What's up, Paul? Good to see you, buddy." Yeah, Canadian says that's why mechanics shouldn't fly. They're bad pilots. You would think that how much culture I spread that I would have played Nier Automata. I have not. Well, that's not even the original game in the franchise because arguably it could be Nier, but that's what most people I think would consider the first. But arguably, you could also consider Drakengard be the first in that franchise. But I haven't played them, so I don't know. I just know, a little bit about the series. So
I think Nier is a culture plant, industry plant, just as much as Aloy.
So, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to playing through the Star Fox games again. It's been a very long time since I played them, and I love Star Fox 64. So, any other franchises you never played the OGs?
I mean, I guess I really can't say Metroid because I have played them and I played the original growing up, but I never beat them. That's on my list to beat. But I'm trying to think if there was any like other major ones that I started with a sequel or a spin-off or something like that. Oh man, I don't know. I think Star Fox is really one of the biggest ones.
Okay.
For me.
Well, you just gave me an idea for another party chat topics in the future. So, and I wrote it. So when I get to it, you'll get the credit for it. So
nice.
But yeah, so Metroid was the inspiration for this question. I have now played Metroid 1 and 2, did that earlier this year. But some other franchises that I still have never played, the classics, Fallout. I've only played Fallout 3. I've started 4, and I actually just started New Vegas in my dive of all the games I'm backlogging. Someone's like, you got to play New Vegas because it's the best one. I know everyone says it's the best one. So I was like, all right, I'll play it. So I just got the first achievement in it yesterday. I don't know when I'm going to get around to actually playing it, but I have now gotten one achievement in New Vegas, but I've never played, the classic Fallouts. Ryan, who's not here tonight, he is a massive Fallout fan, so I'm pretty sure I know he's played the classic Fallouts because he loves those ones. Like I said, Zelda, I never played classic Zelda or Zelda 2. I'll be playing those. The plan is to play those this year at some point. Castlevania. My introduction to the Castlevania franchise was Lords of Shadow because I'm a big hack and slash fan. And it was around that time where I also got big into Metroidvanias. And everyone's like, Symphony of the Night's like the greatest thing ever. So I played Symphony of the Night, the Xbox Live Arcade version. It's good. It's not as great as as everyone claims it to be. And I think Canadian's there with me. He's also on that where he's like, it's okay, but it's not as great as everyone says. But I've never played any of the classic ones. I will do those at some point as well because I have the Anniversary Collection, which has all the classic Castlevania. So I will be playing them, and I picked that up thanks to DJ Axis because he's also a big fan of Castlevania. He's like, "You owe it to yourself. You got to play the classics." I was like, "All right." So I picked it up when it was on sale, and I haven't dived it yet, but I will be diving that very soon, as well as the Advanced Collection, which are all Metroidvanias. So I'm very much looking forward to playing those, and the Dominus Collection, which are also all Metroidvanias. So I'm very much looking forward to playing those ones. I don't know how I'm going to like the classic ones, though.
In the classic ones, 3, Dracula's Curse, is fantastic. It's one of the best ones. I'll always love the original. Simon's Quest is a whole other thing. It's a completely different style out of all the rest of it.
I actually heard that.
But 3 is solid. And then I would say one of the best Castlevania experiences out there is Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo.
Super Castlevania.
That's when they really they gave you more abilities and more controls. So it was a pretty big game changer. 4 is, I would say, out of those original 4 games, 4 is probably the best, followed by 3, and then go 1, 2. Like it's just those Rondo of Blood, that's a great one too.
Like Rondo of Blood or nothing. I think that's his favorite.
Rondo of Blood is
because he just recently played through like all the Castlevanias for the first time, like within the last year.
It's it's such a great franchise. I played that franchise going from the beginning. Oh man, I'm up to strike 2 with AC. Oh boy.
That's strike 2 for Matt. And dude says,
I did think of another franchise though that I didn't play the original was Killzone. I started with Killzone 3 on the PS3 and but I never played Killzone 1 and 2.
Okay. I never played any of them because they were PlayStation. I've never owned a PlayStation. But if I had a PlayStation, I would have played the Killzone games. Absolutely.
I just don't like how loose those controls feel on the PS3 controller. I don't know what it is, but shooters on the PS3 never really felt as good to me as the PS2 or even the PS4 did.
Yeah.
Okay. But dude says that technically Simon's Quest could be considered a Metroidvania because I know the classic ones, well, maybe not 2, but 1, 3, and 4 are just strictly, like platformers. There's no Metroidvania elements in it. But I did not know that Simon's Quest could be considered a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's and then since you're going to be playing the Zelda stuff too, you'll notice some big similarities between Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. There's going to be some big similarities there. Man, you are in for some fun, but also a lot of frustration. I'm
familiar with frustration. One of the games I just dove the other night was Elden Ring. And I got one achievement for beating Margit or something. And God, that took me like freaking like 30 or 40 tries. And I got like this close to beating him like 6 times. I was so freaking mad at that guy. But I beat him and I got my first achievement in Elden Ring. So that's another one I'll be playing at some point. So maybe we'll have to do some more Dude Souls with Elden Ring because I know Dude's already done Elden Ring and I'm just dipping my toe in. So Pop Culture Mechanic says, play Simon's Quest Redacted. It fixes all the mistakes of the original game. Ah, interesting. Let me write that down. So I'll take a look at that.
Is that a ROM hack?
Probably
kind of fix the
Simon's
game.
Quest Redacted. Oh, while we're on the topic, I just want to give a shout out to. I haven't played it yet, but I have downloaded it. For anyone out there who is a fan of Castlevania, there is a fan-made game called Castlevania Revamped, and they took Castlevania 1 and made it a Metroidvania. So I was like, sign me up. It's a Metroidvania. I'm absolutely going to play that at some point. You can get it for free. I'll go look for it, and I'll put the link in the stream description so anyone can go to it afterwards as well. But I'll look for that Simon's Quest Redacted. Let me look.
Nice.
Castlevania Revamped. Get link. All right, so I will get the link to that. I have it in my. I've downloaded it. I've launched it, but I haven't actually played it. But I've never played the classic one either, so I don't really know how they compare. But I just know that someone made a fan version of classic Castlevania 1 as a Metroidvania. I was like, I'm all for it.
That's cool.
There we go.
So, dude says, did the skills from Dude Souls playthrough help? Yes. However, I even though I was very mad at this guy and it took a lot of playthrough, a lot of attempts to beat him, I'm already liking Elden Ring like 10 times better than Dark Souls, just because how much more fluid and fast paced it is than how slow paced Dark Souls is. I could always play Elden Ring again. I have a PS4 and PS5. Maybe because dude coached me through Dark Souls because I'd never played it, and Dark Souls was like one of his favorite games. So
nice.
I streamed it, and he was watching what I was doing, guiding me and stuff. So we did the entirety of Dark Souls on stream. So maybe we'll continue that with Elden Ring. We'll see. But anyways, back on topic. Couple other franchises I've never played. The original Ace Combat. I've only played Ace Combat 6, but I love jets.
Nice.
And I thought of that because Ryan, who's not here tonight, he typically does Top Gun Tuesday right before Party Chat, where he's playing Ace Combat 7 because he's a big fan of jets as well. So it's your Bonnet Commando, because I recently played through Bonnet Commando Elite Forces, which is a Game Boy Color game that I had back in the day. And that was one of my 4 masteries on Retro Achievement. I just played that again for the first time since the Game Boy Color game was new. And that was a lot of fun, but I've never played the original NES version. That's a very niche franchise. There's only been a couple games. There was an arcade game. There was the NES game. There was the Game Boy Color game, and then the only other game I believe was the 360 game from like 2009, which got a lot of hate, but I enjoyed it. The story was stupid though, and I think I shouted out that as an honorable mention when we were doing top 5 dead franchises, because that one is a dead franchise that I would like to see revived because I just like the concept. The Call of Duty games, I've only played like Modern Warfare's 1 and 2, but I'm not a huge fan of Call of Duty. Project Gotham Racing, I did 3 and 4. Nice. That was my favorite launch title on the 360 was Project Gotham Racing 3. I thought it was going to be Perfect Dark Zero because I'm a huge fan of Perfect Dark, but I like PGR 3 so much that I never played 1 or 2 on the original Xbox. Same with Forza. I played Forza 2 and 3 on 360, but I never played the original on original Xbox. The Tomb Raider games, I played like the 360 ones, but I never played the classic ones. Although I do have the remastered collection, and I just dove. I was just going to ask. And I got my first achievement in the first one just a day or 2 ago. So I will be playing through the classic Tomb Raiders at some point.
Beautiful.
Speaking of racing games, Need for Speed. I think my first Need for Speed game I played was Most Wanted. Loved that game, but I haven't played anything before that one. Elder Scrolls we mentioned, where I've only played Skyrim and Oblivion and Skyrim, but I never played the other ones. And Wolfenstein. The only ones that I played were the Machine Games ones from like
later on.
Actually, they were Xbox One games. I don't, although they might have been 360 games as well. But I like those games a lot, and there's a second stack for those on Windows. I haven't dived those ones yet, but I'm looking forward to playing those games again because I really enjoyed playing them. 6 years ago, whenever I played them. But those Machine Games Wolfensteins, I know a lot of people who are Wolfenstein, diehards from classic. I've heard that they're not fans of the Machine Games Wolfensteins, but I really enjoyed them. But that was my first experience with the Wolfenstein games, and I liked them a lot. So, Leia Rose is here. What's up, Leia Rose?
What's up, Leia? Good to see you.
Good evening. So,
yeah, those original Wolfenstein games, between those, Doom,
I have played
Duke Nukem, all that stuff.
I've never played any Duke Nukem game, although that's another game I will be diving here soon because I got the Duke Nukem 30th anniversary version or whatever. So I'll be playing my first Duke Nukem game. Doom.
Oh, wait until you get all the quotes. Oh my God, you're gonna.
I know a
love
lot
Duke.
of them just because of memes and stuff, but I haven't actually heard them in game.
Oh, Duke Nukem.
But
Those alien bastards blew up my ride.
that was pretty good. But yeah, Doom would have been on there, although because Doom 2016 was my first Doom game, and then I played Doom 2016, then Eternal. Actually, and then I went back and I played the classic ones. The only one I haven't played yet is Doom 3. I played a couple hours of it. I still need to get back to it and play through it in its entirety. I know
that's a funky game. Slow start, but it picks up, and then man, it gets good.
I'm not a big fan of the survival horror genre, and this one, like the other ones are more much, they're not really scary. They're more action games.
Yeah, those very fast paced
action horror games, which I'm fine with, but I'm not a big fan of survival horror. And Doom 3 is kind of in that vein, so that's why I'm not exactly looking forward to playing it. But the couple hours I played, I'm like, this isn't too bad. But I know Dude is a huge fan of Doom 3.
Nice.
So. But, all right. Awesome. There were a number of other franchises that when I was looking through all the ones I played, I'm like, oh, I could talk about these ones, but those are kind of like the big name ones. Some of the other ones are much smaller franchises. All right. So as alluded to earlier at the beginning of the stream, talking about picking up a Switch at launch here, curious from you guys, this may not apply to everyone, but I think I'm in good company for this one. And that is talking about consoles you got on launch day. First of all, have you ever gotten a console on launch day? And if you did, which was your favorite? Do you have any fun, midnight launch stories, anything along those lines about a console launch? So it sounds like that you want to go first on this one.
My favorite's sitting right there.
The Dreamcast.
On this table. The Dreamcast. $99.99. Yeah. This I had to get this console. I had no choice because Code Veronica was exclusive to the Dreamcast.
I did not know that.
And so I heard about that, and I was like, all right, I got to get this thing. It didn't come out right away. It's sort of considered a launch title, but I don't know.
Launch window.
But then obviously we had a brand new Sonic game. We got Sonic Adventure, and we had Crazy Taxi coming out on this, and like the Dreamcast.
Talking good about Sonic Adventure, maybe you'll get one of your strikes revoked by I know how much you love Sonic Adventure, so maybe he'll reduce your strike count.
Maybe I can. Yeah, I don't even know what my first strike was. Was it Star Fox? I didn't know. AC. The Dreamcast still to this day is one of my favorite consoles ever.
Okay.
And at its time when it came out, this console was ahead of its time. We were going online with it. We had the Sega network and everything that went with it. But on top of that, the graphics and the resolution it used was better than its competition out there at the time. Like just when I had the opportunity to get a Dreamcast version of a game that was on the rest, I got the Dreamcast version, like Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. I had it on the PS1, but the Dreamcast version is far superior. And
I've heard a lot from Jason because he's a big Sega fan as well, and he loves the Dreamcast, my co-host on Top 5, and he said that a lot of the arcade games were the Dreamcast version.
Yeah. It was such a fun console. The controller was definitely funky. I don't have a Dreamcast controller sitting next to me at the moment, but it had a deep grip. So like you're holding on to this thing almost like a steering wheel. Like it was a funky grip. But it started the NHL 2K games on there, and they were phenomenal. Like I'm jumping from playing, like NHL 97 or 98 was probably one of the last ones I played on the 16-bit era, and then jumping to this full 3D, like I felt like I was at the game. I'm like, this is just incredible. And the arena sound, like the console was so powerful. And to this day, I swear they never put something on there that fully pushed the limits of that console. This thing was a beast.
shoot, I was just going to ask you something about it, but one of the other things I was going to mention when we talk about the controller is the VMUs were really cool.
Yes,
And
I love the VMUs.
Shout out to my friend the Melee Games channel on their last episode of their Melee Madness podcast. Somebody is like reviving the VMUs with a better screen and making it like almost like a little handheld console. So,
oh my god,
if you love those VMUs, someone is reviving that format. It looks just like one, but with a more modern screen and can do a lot more stuff. So, I thought that was pretty cool.
See, that was another thing it was ahead of its time with, because you could get the standard VMU that was just the memory pack, or you got the one with the screen that also had controls on it. There were buttons, and there were mini games you could play on it. Like in the Sonic Adventure games, especially Sonic Adventure 2, there was the whole thing with the Chow Garden,
right?
And all that,
I
right?
love the Chow Garden.
The VMU, what were those things? What were the little
Tamagotchis?
Like the little Yes, the Tamagotchis.
They were just like
pets.
Tamagotchis, yeah.
It was basically that, and it was just so cool.
So did you? Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you get the like because that you said it was in $9.99, right? It was the launch date.
Yeah.
Did you go to like a midnight launch for it?
We got it during the day. I went with a buddy of mine because that was actually his birthday. So we were celebrating his birthday at the same time.
A Dreamcast.
Yeah, and then we went and we were getting him something, and then also I was like, "Well, I'm also getting a Dreamcast."
So they weren't like sold out or anything.
No, we got it from a Toys R Us.
Nice.
I'm an old fart.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I only played a Dreamcast once over at a friend's house. I played Crazy Taxi.
Great game.
But I know how much everyone like loved that console. And recently someone, I don't know if it was a video or something, but I found out that essentially it's basically like the proto original Xbox.
I could see that. Yeah, its popularity is it's almost like a cult thing almost at this point. Like there's just so much love for that console, and it had way too short of a life. It just at that time Sega was kind of on their way out. Well, actually that was their last venture with the world of consoles.
Well, they had Saturn.
No, the Saturn was before the Dreamcast.
Yeah, Saturn was before, bro.
Saturn was before Dreamcast? I thought it was after.
No.
Nah, Dreamcast was their finale.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I actually don't own a Saturn, but I've played a ton of Saturn games. The Saturn was better than people say. It had its issues. Don't get me wrong. Like RE1 on the Saturn is a hot mess, but I'll play it because whatever.
Huh. But I had in my head that the Saturn was after the Dreamcast.
No,
I never owned any of the Sega consoles, so.
Oh, the Saturn came out in a weird time because they were desperately trying to compete, and they had just put out the 32X adapter for the Genesis, and now you're building up the Tower of Power.
The Tower
of Power, and then the Saturn came out that was just in this weird middle ground. I think the Saturn probably had a shorter life than the Dreamcast.
That would make sense. Dude says he has a Saturn. I wouldn't. I would have if I had to guess, I would have said, yeah, dude owns a Saturn.
I have a Saturn.
I would assume that you have one as well. So Jason just shuddered somewhere. So all right, well, good stuff. So I should have had 3 consoles on launch, but I only ended up with 2 consoles on launch. The first console I got on launch day was the GameCube, and I remember it came out. I'm pretty sure it came out on a Sunday. We went to Target, and they still had a bunch of them. And I got the black one. I'm sure Carl would have liked the purple one because I know purple's his favorite color. But
I still got my original purple.
Yep, I would figure. But any piece of tech, doesn't matter what it is, I want it in black. So I obviously I had to get the black GameCube, and I got that. The games I got with it didn't come with anything bundled in, but the games I got on launch day with it was Tony Hawk 3 and Rogue Leader. And I remember coming home that night and playing the crap out of those games. And those are Tony Hawk 3 is still my favorite Tony Hawk game. And Rogue Leader is like, I think when we did top 5 Star Wars games, I think that's still my second favorite Star Wars game. So they've held up very well. And then the next console launch I got on launch was the Wii. But the main reason why I got that was because I could not freaking wait for Twilight Princess, and it held up to everything I was hoping for, because I was not a big fan of Wind Waker, because I feel like if Wind Waker and Twilight Princess releases were reversed, I don't think Wind Waker would have gotten as much hate as it did, because, Ocarina of Time, I said, is my favorite. And then they showed a Space World 2000. They showed, what Link was and Zelda, or Link and Gandalf were going to look like on the GameCube. Was like, oh my God, this looks amazing. Yep. The tech demo. And then the next year they show Wind Waker. It's like, WTF is this? That's not what we want. The only reason why I bought Wind Waker is because it came with Master Quest. So I could play Ocarina of Time on my GameCube. I've only played Wind Waker the one time, but even though I've only played it that one time, I have come around on it, because shout out to Melee K, it's her favorite Zelda. I have a lot of gripes with it, but it's not a bad game. I'm just not a huge fan of it. And then we got Twilight Princess, and it lived up to everything that I was hoping Wind Waker was going to be. So I bought it, and with the motion controls, I do like the motion controls. A lot of people hate the Wii because of the motion controls. I like them, and even though it wasn't 1-to-1 like Skyward Sword was, I just wanted to whack people with my sword myself, and so I loved Twilight Princess. That's the main reason. I did get a couple other games with Wii on launch, but I don't remember what they were, because that's the only one I really cared about. Third one? Oh, go ahead.
Quick question on Twilight Princess: was the Wii version the first version of it that you played?
Yes, I've not played the GameCube version of it yet, but I will be, because the GameCube version is the one that has the retro achievements, because Wii doesn't have retro achievements yet.
You're gonna be so confused.
Well, I already know, because dude told me they just took the exact same game, but because Link is left-handed, but in Twilight Princess he's holding the sword in his right hand, because most people are right-handed, and you're playing with a Wiimote. Yep. Instead of just switching his hands, they mirrored the entire world for the GameCube version, which actually came out a week after the Wii version did. So if you went right in the Wii version, you have to go left in the GameCube version. So I do know about that. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I was so confused, because I went from the GameCube version to the Wii version. I was like, wait, why do I not know where I'm going?
So I am aware of that. I just haven't played it yet. So, but yeah, Ted's Nerd World is here. What's up, Ted?
What's up,
How's
Ted?
it going? And yeah, I know Canadians was a fan of the Wii as well. But the third one I was supposed to get on launch was the Series X. Like I said, I'm an Xbox guy, so I wanted to upgrade to the Series X. I had a pre-order for it, and like the day it came out, I was constantly checking the website, seeing my order status, and then the day it came out, it just said canceled. Oh. They just canceled it on me, and I called them, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a glitch in the system. In a couple of days, it'll clear up. It never did. So instead of getting it on launch day, I didn't get it till about 7 months later on my birthday. And I was trying to get it the entire time, but it was sold out everywhere the whole time. So it took nearly 7 months to finally be able to get my Series X, even though I had a pre-order for it, and Microsoft just canceled it on me for no reason whatsoever. And I was very upset about that. And I sat on hold with just to talk to someone from the Xbox support team for like 2 hours. And nothing came of it, and I never got my pre-order, so I'm still a bit salty about that.
That's funny.
So, yeah, that's what Walmart's doing to a bunch of people right now with the Switch 2.
I heard about that. So
knocking on wood.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen to either of you guys. Dude says the 32X was the middle ground. It was championed by the American branch because they didn't think people would be happy spending more money on a new box. That makes sense. They saw the moms complaining about the NES got upgraded to the Super Nintendo. Yeah. What about you, Carl? Do you have any fun launch stories for new consoles?
No, not really. I only got the PS5 and the Series X on launch because those were the only times I could actually afford them at launch.
So like I said, the GameCube and the Wii, I actually went into the store and got those on launch day. The Wii one, I actually did a midnight launch. The GameCube one, I did later that day. The Series X was an online pre-order. So for your Series X or your PS5, were those online, or did you go into the store for those?
So I got my Series X at Best Buy. It was not a midnight, but it was an early morning launch.
Okay.
So I actually did that.
I got my Series X from Best Buy as well. I finally found Best Buy had the best. They had the best way to like stop scalpers. So you had to go through a whole series of stuff to just get to it when they came in. You couldn't just buy them all up. So that's why I was able to get one, as you know, even though it was 7 months later, I was able to get one not longer than 7 months because Best Buy system. I was proud about. I was happy with that. So sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I got my PlayStation was in the mail,
Okay.
So, but about the only thing that I'll get is the Switch 2 tomorrow. And I get it at 11:01 Central Time, so it'll be fun.
In the morning, I assume.
No, at night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
it's like an hour before the actual launch.
Yeah,
time.
before release day.
That makes sense.
No, I'm in Central Time, so it's 12:01 East Coast time is what they go.
Oh,
okay.
That
makes sense. Yeah, I've never understood. It's like you got to wait till midnight in your time zone. It's like, why? Other time zones already have it, so why can't I have it too? That's friggin' stupid. If I'm in the Pacific, so all these people have these things like 3 hours before me. You East Coasters, you're on the East Coast, right, Nat?
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. Yep. That's funny.
Yeah, I know. AC is excited to get his copies too.
Yep. So, dude says I got my Series X because I went into my Target for some shoelaces and decided to check the gaming section. I just happen to have it. You suck.
Just a slight price difference between those items.
Shoelaces. I walked out with a Series X. All right. Well, with that, we will get into our final topic for the night. And as always, we finish off with our favorite game from another year. And today's year is 2006. Just like 2005, I was surprised at how many great games came out in 2006. Not as many as my favorite year of all time, which will be on the next episode whenever that happens. But 2006 had a lot of great games. So I usually like to go ahead and go last because a lot of the ones that I pick also already get mentioned. So I'll let you guys go first, then I'll mention any of mine that didn't get mentioned. So Matt, since you're the guest here tonight, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your favorite game, if you can pick one from 2006.
So 2006 had a ton of releases. Actually, Twilight Princess is one of them, and that was definitely a huge release that year.
That is on my list of favorite games from 2006. Absolutely.
I have a very odd choice.
Oh, interesting.
And this is a widely hated game, and personally, I don't know why, because I think the game is great. So it's actually kind of a double whammy. Because not only is it like widely hated for, I guess, the gameplay style of it and everything, it's also a movie tie-in game, which generally.
I think I know where you're going with this.
So, let me know what you think it is. What do you think it is?
Is it King Kong?
No, it's okay. That's a great game. Did that come out in 06?
I don't know. I know it came out around then. I don't know
Jackson's
if it was
King Kong.
I played that. I think it was a 360 launch title, but it might have come out later. I'm not sure.
That game is great, by the way. That's also a widely hated game, but that is a fantastic movie tie-in game.
I think I got it.
Oh, you think it? What do you think it is?
Is it Reservoir Dogs?
No, it's not. I did play that one.
Did that come out? I've not even seen that movie, so I know nothing about Reservoir Dogs.
This one was the movie tie-in to Superman Returns.
Oh, I played that game.
This was on Xbox and PS2.
Oh, I played the 360 one.
Was it? Did it port to 360 also?
It's the one where you're Superman, so you're basically invincible, but the city has a health bar. Is that the one?
Yes.
Yes. Superman Returns. I don't know. It might have been a cross-generation release, but I played it on 360.
It was very open world, similar to the current Spider-Man games. Actually, lots of the Spider-Man games have been open world like that, even since that generation too.
Yeah.
But this game, not only was it open world, you could just fly around Metropolis and be Superman and have all of his powers, and you're fighting all kinds of villains because the game, it's had to be a game. It wasn't just following the movie. It had all these extra missions and everything, including the things we didn't get to see in the movie, like why he was gone. The game explained it, why he was gone. We get to play the moments that he's out searching for remnants of Krypton and all this stuff. And it was great. And then you're flying around. You got the heat vision. You got his strength. You got flight. You got all of this stuff. And I played that game just hours on end every day and absolutely loved it. And it wasn't until like years later that I found out that most people just completely despise that game. And I'm like, why? It's, in my opinion, it's one of the best Superman games ever made.
It's the only Superman game I've played, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I never played Superman 64, which I know everyone's like, that is not only just the worst Superman game, it's one of the worst games of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I pulled it up here on True Cheating because, like I said, I played the 360 version. So I played it in June of 2009. And the people who play it can rate it on a 5-star system. And from the community, it has a 1.96. So not a great community rating. But I thought it was all right.
I mean, obviously things have advanced since then, so there were some limitations and everything with it, and there was probably a lot more even at that time they could have done with it. But because this was also being a movie tie-in game, you have to understand that it was rushed because that was coming out with the movie and everything. So movie tie-in games tend to be rushed and unfinished in multiple ways. I'm actually staring at the chat because I'm really worried that that's my third strike with AC. But it was such a, I don't know.
I just pulled up King Kong because I did play that one as well, and apparently I didn't like it because I only gave it 1 star. But I know a lot of people do say that for a movie tie-in game, it's pretty good. But it was a launch title, November of 2005, so it was a 360 title. I just wasn't sure if it was or not.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's my really odd out there pick for 2006.
That's a great answer. So what about you, Carl? You got a favorite from 2006?
Do I have a favorite from 2006? I'm kind of just looking over the games that came out this year.
All right. While you're looking that over, I'll go over all the ones that I really enjoyed from that year, but if I had to narrow it down, it would be between Oblivion and Twilight Princess. But I love both of those games a lot. I just dove the Oblivion remaster, so I'm looking forward to playing that one again for the first time in forever. But if I had to pick, I loved Oblivion, and it's what got me into RPGs. It was the first RPG I ever played. But I love Twilight Princess so much. So I'd probably have to say Twilight Princess is probably my favorite game of 2006. But I got a bunch of other games from 2006 that I really enjoyed. But I'll let Carl go, and then I'll follow up with some of my favorite.
You can go first before me, Neo.
Okay. So my top 2 would be, like I said, Oblivion and Twilight Princess. But a couple other games that I really loved from 2006 was the original Gears. Gears of War came out in 2006. Talking about, one of the topics we were talking about earlier with music games, Guitar Hero 2. That's when I got into the Guitar Hero games because that's when it came to 360. I did play Guitar Hero 1 on my friend's PS2, but I didn't own it because I had a 360, so I didn't own it until it came to 360, and Guitar Hero 2 came to 360. The original Prey, I loved that game a lot. I loved how mind-bendy and like out there it was. So like it was very like the physics of the game were just like mind-blowing. I've still never played a game like it since. And speaking of Prey, I just played Dove Prey 2017 just yesterday, or actually it might have been earlier today. So I'll be playing Prey 2017, which I've also heard is a great game. But I love the original Prey and just how different it was than a lot of games at the time. And then Rainbow Six Vegas was also 2006, and I love Rainbow Six Vegas. I liked Rainbow Six Vegas 2 more, but both of them were fantastic.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and shout out to Half-Life 2 Episode 1 also came out in 2006. So
I think Dead Rising was 06.
That might have been. I haven't played it, but
somewhere around there.
Thank you for mentioning Half-Life, Paul, because I'm a big fan of Half-Life. But yeah, Episode 1 came out in 2006. So, Carl, you got anything yet?
We're gonna go with Okami.
I had a feeling you were going to say that when I was looking through the games that came out in 2006. I was like, I have a feeling Carl's going to say that because I know you love that game. I have that in my my list of games to dive, so I've never played it, but I own it and I will be playing it at some point.
I think I own it on everything, and I just need to really sit down and replay it, especially because the sequel is going to be coming out relatively soon too.
Oh, that's right. It just because 2006 and nearly 20 years later, they're finally announcing a sequel. Dead Rising was 2006.
It was 06?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. Okami, good one. Oh, yeah. Paul says, yep, Dead Rising was 2006 as well. I know that was a very popular one, but I never played that one.
Yeah, and I think there was a Sonic the Hedgehog game in 06.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Oh, Oh God, I almost threw up talking about that.
So, did you have any other favorites from 2006, Carl? Or
I
that
think he covered pretty much all of them.
okay? Any others, Matt, that I didn't mention that you were a big fan of?
I mean, Dead Rising. That was definitely a big one. I was just looking. Oh, I totally forgot about this because it was the same year. Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy,
That's
because it came alongside the DVD set.
That's the only Lego game I've Lego of the more recent ones. I talked about I totally forgot about it, but I talked about on a recent episode. I played this like Lego Island game as a kid. It was like a
Yeah.
DOS game. But of like the modern Lego games, Lego Star Wars 2 is the only one I played.
Yeah, such a good game, and that was I remember I was home all day that day. I definitely took off of work for this because I was picking up the DVD. I had the silver box set for the widescreen edition of the OT,
That
and then
the DVD
yeah,
one? That one
yep,
right
yeah,
there?
that one, yep, that one, exact one.
Yep.
And at the same time, getting Lego Star Wars for the PS2.
Nice.
That was wow, that was a good day.
Good day, absolutely. And dude says there were 2 Sonic games in 2006, both amazingly bad.
My God, what was the other one? I just Jesus.
Let's see here.
That wasn't the werewolf one, was it?
I
I never finished that one,
Sonic
but
the-
Sonic 06 is I mean, I
was it
I mean,
Sonic
on the shelf.
Riders? Is that what the other one is?
oh, was it Sonic Ride? That was the Kinect game, wasn't it?
I have no idea. Let's see here.
That might be
this
it.
is not in a list by release date. Let's see.
That would have been like Prime Connect, like
Let me Sonic Riders. Let's see here. Sonic Riders. Where's the release? 2006 racing game. I don't know if it was Kinect game, but all right. Well, we learned something that there are 2 terrible Sonic games from 2006. I
Well.
didn't know that. Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis released on the GBA. Huh, did not know that.
on the Game Boy Advance. Oh wow!
Matt, be careful. The werewolf one was great.
I never finished it. I only
You-
got so far.
I know Canadian's a big fan of the Sonic franchise.
I have
I've
it.
only
I
played a
just
couple
never-
of them, so I don't know.
Tell you what, AC, I will finish that one. I'll finish.
Oh, I
the-
think Sonic Unleashed is the werewolf one or the werehog.
yeah,
one.
Unleashed.
Yep.
That's what dude's saying. Plenty of people like Sonic Unleashed. I'm pretty sure that's the werehog one. They just say
Yeah.
the where. Oh, he said it right there. Werehog levels get a little long.
Oh, he's telling us
Pump
to
the
pump
brakes.
Don't finish it. Fine, okay. If you say so.
It's all right. Well, fine. I won't finish it then.
I won't play it. It's right on the shelf, right there. I could do it now.
Sonic Riders is the only good Sonic racing to date. Okay. I'm just going off of what I hear from other people. I have not played it, so I don't know. So you have to take that up with Dude because he's the one saying that Sonic Riders is a terrible, awful game. So we'll have to get a smackdown between Angry Canadian and Dude on Sonic Riders.
Don't trust either of them. That's what I say.
So, all right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for Party Chat tonight. Matt, thank you for coming on. I had a blast hanging out with you tonight. I'm glad we finally were able to make this finally work.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
very
a long
fun.
time coming. Yeah, Carl, very nice to meet you, dude. I'm so glad we could finally do this. I'm watching your show and stuff and when I can on the replays and everything. It's just we finally got the planets to align.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on over on your channel that you want to shout out, plug before we say goodnight here?
I got this week is 2 major streams. It's just the day will probably flip depending on when the Switch 2 arrives, but I'll be diving into the Switch 2 for the first time from start to whenever we get things running. And the other stream is going to be going into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for the first time. So if I'm hoping my Switch 2 arrives on launch day, but it most likely with my luck it'll be Friday. So we'll see what happens.
And yeah, I didn't realize this till I was getting the link because I just put the link to your channel in chat, but I always
Thank you.
preload everyone's links into the stream description. When I went to go get that, when I scheduled the stream on Sunday, I was like, Dang, you got 24,000 subs. Good job, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
on.
Yeah. It's growing. I can't believe it. It's actually mind blowing.
You're doing good stuff. How long have you been doing the YouTube thing?
I started posting content in 2017 very slowly.
They've been at it for a little while.
At that point, I started the channel itself with like the name and everything, which was originally just the Matt Cave in 2016, and was all just for the sake of being able to join live chats and comment.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that. And then eventually I started doing stuff, and then it was just in the last few years that I decided to really push. And then
push the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, and then just been going. So now
awesome. It's been working well for you. That's awesome. See your growth.
It's fun.
But thank you for joining me. I had a lot of fun and hope we can do this again sometime in the future. Maybe get you on an episode of Top Fives at some point.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
So, Carl, what do you got going on?
Tomorrow, we're going to be doing an episode of Legacy Loading with Insidious Bliss, and we're going to be talking about the ESRB rating system.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Listening to that one.
Yeah, so that's going to be a fun one. Dive into the history of it. Bliss is a little bit, I think, a little bit older than Matt here, actually. So he might actually remember a lot of the political stuff behind it too. A lot better than I could, because I was a 90s kid, so I missed out on all the Tipper Gores and all that stuff too. So that was supposed to be last Saturday, but
that's right.
Yeah, but my mom, she has cancer, and it was the first time she got to leave the house after treatments, and we were like, well, let's make a day of it, so that was fun. But back on track. So that's tomorrow's thing. Thursday, sounds like we're going to be doing another recap of the Sony State of Play 2 with McDizzle Gaming. So that should be a fun one too. Friday, what do I have Friday? Man, I have so much stuff coming out here. Friday, I'm blanking here. Oh, why am I blanking so hard here? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I'm a little tired. Friday, we're going to have also another episode of Legacy Loading, and I will be joined by Shaka Zulu. And we're going to be talking about Insomniac Games, actually. So we're going to talk about the history of Insomniac Games.
I've got that one in my playlist already. Looking forward to that one as well. Even though I don't know if I've actually played any Insomniac Games, but you and Shock, that's going to be a good stream.
Yeah, so that should be good. After that, Saturday, we're actually doing a new show called Toxic Nostalgia. And we're going to have on, obviously, Cream NATO, but we're also going to have on Jason as well.
Oh, sweet.
And that show's dedicated to talking about our favorite memories of E3 and just kind of having more fun, casual, bring up clips and segments to talk about what mind-blowing stuff happened on E3, our favorite moments. I think I might talk about the infamous press X to attack the crab moment, if anyone gets that one.
Oh, the giant enemy crab?
Yes, there you go. So I
remember that.
For sure one of the more fun moments. And then Sunday, I will be joining the Company Boys on their channel. And we're going to watch the Xbox Showcase.
Sweet. Nice. Shout out to the Company Boys. Paul's in chat.
Working pretty hard, so everything's going there. Plus, grabbing a Switch too.
You got a busy schedule. So, awesome. So, I'm assuming Angry Canadian is talking about me, but he might be talking about Max. I don't know if he's played it, but he was shouting in all caps. This man plays Dark Souls and can't handle Sonic Riders. Have you played Dark Souls, Matt?
No, I've played it, but never.
Oh,
never
he's talking about dude.
thing.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, I haven't played Sonic Rider, so I don't know. So, all right. Thank you for clarifying that for me, Carl.
No problem.
So, all right. So for myself, I don't have anything else going on this week. My next stream will be next Tuesday for our next episode of Top 5, and also the last Top 5 for a while. And we are going to be ranking our top 5 favorite licensed games, which was
sad I can't make that one.
Yeah, because that was Carl's idea. He put that on my radar like forever ago, and he keeps asking, "Hey, when are you gonna do a license game? When are you gonna do a license game?" So we'll have to do a license game part 2 at some point, so you can absolutely be on that panel.
Yeah, because I thought you were going to be gone, so I made
not yet. I'm not leaving until the week after.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be gone, so I got another show on that day too. But I'll save that for next week. But it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I think we have the same top 5 panel as last episode of Top 5 with Nightmare and Ryan, co-host on Party Chat, who unfortunately was not able to make it tonight. And then I will be on Carl's channel next Wednesday. Are we still on for that?
Yes, we are still on for next Wednesday.
Cool. So, and Carl mentioned, I think, or at the beginning of the stream, but yeah, I'll be over at Carl's channel on next Wednesday night, and we're going to be talking about BioWare, because Mass Effect is my favorite franchise of all time, and I think it was your number 1 or your number 2. It was up there.
Mass Effect 2.
Well, when we were ranking franchises, because I'm pretty sure you were on top 5 franchises, weren't you?
Yeah, I can't remember all these ones. There's too much that happens in this mind of mine.
So I'll have to pull up my notes here, but I'm almost positive that you were on top 5 franchises. Let's see here.
Probably was.
Like,
yes.
I think that was episode 10. It was. So it was me, Jason, JT Epsilon, Carl, and Dude. And Mass Effect was also your number 1 favorite franchise. So it's both of our favorites.
Makes sense.
So we're going to be talking about BioWare on his channel on Wednesday. And then Dude and I will be doing our next episode of Achievement Chasers on the 12th, next Thursday, where we talk about all our achievement hunting over the course of May. And then that'll be my last stream until like late July, because I'll be on summer hiatus for stuff going on IRL. So fun stuff, though. It's going to be a fun summer. So, and Dude wanted to clarify. He said he's never played Sonic Riders. So, Canadian, you don't have to yell at him. He's probably just going off what he heard as well. The only Sonic game I've ever put any time into is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on GameCube. You'll definitely earn some points in Angry Canadian's book for that, because he loves Sonic Adventure 2.
It's a great game.
Did you see what I DM'd you about? Carl said to me, "Oh, yes, I did." I'll get back to that on that after stream here, but that'll be it for Party Chat episode 40. Thank you, Matt, for joining, for gracing us with your presence, because I didn't realize how big you were. So thank you for spending a couple hours with us. It was a lot of fun.
I had a blast, man.
Carl, always glad to have you as a co-host. So everyone in chat, thanks for hanging out as we blabber on about video games as usual for a couple hours. And you guys all have a good summer, because I won't see you for another episode of Party Chat for a while. So thank you everyone for joining me in chat. You guys all have a good night. And we will see you later. And as always, in the meantime, game on.
Have a good night.